All right, I think we're live. We have a live stream, and I am not one to, what do you want? Disappoint. I have a cat already down here, but the cat cam is empty. Like, he's right here, Squeaky. Oh, no, he's not falling for it. So we'll just have to wait until we have a prime opportunity. But anyway, live stream tonight. Okay, we're doing Dungeon Master question and answer. 1 or 2 hours. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. The questions never end. There's always an endless amount of questions, which I will do my best to answer. But at a certain point, we are going to transition into adventure creation. We have been creating a D&D adventure together called Fishy Business that features Kuatoa, or however you pronounce those. So we'll work on that probably at the 1 hour in or 2 hour in point. We'll see how things go. But right now we are answering questions. That's the right. Oh, there was one there. The rules for asking questions is hashtag all caps question, and that will cue my moderators to throw your question into a wonderful spreadsheet that we have, from which I will grab your questions and then give you answers. And moderators, as a reminder, if you could give me some special color coding on questions that you think are particularly juicy, and then I will answer those ones. I'll give priority to those ones. So there we go. This is the point of the live stream where I read people's names off. Malkuth, what up, dude? I watched your pronunciation video for your name, so I think I know how to pronounce your name now. What up, man? Penguin Butt, good to see you again, man. Marcus Westphal, how you doing, buddy? I am thinking that I'm being watched, and I know it. I know I'm being watched. I'm currently being watched by, that's not that bad. It's like 50 people. It's not that big of a deal. The day that it's 1,000, then I might actually sweat it a little bit. But the fanboy of Eaton, what up, dude? Natalie Spain, hello. How you doing? Good to see you again. More fuller? More full of what? What are you more full of, dude? Andrew Lockwood, overclocked. What up, dude? Overclocked 2020. I hope I'm not overclocked. Who else we got? Brett Pedro, hello. Princess Canuta, what up, Princess Canuta? Cameron F, good to see you again, man. All right, niceness. That's just dicey. Sweet. All right, folks, let's hit some questions up, shall we? Kyler Christian, first time here. All right, man, ready for a good time. For a good time, call the DM Lair. that was a joke that could have gone wrong. So we'll move on to some questions, shall we? All right. Wow. So please forever. That's how I'm gonna choose to pronounce your name. Please forever. I have several ideas for campaigns, but I have only a single group that I D&D with. Any suggestions? Yeah, I got 2 suggestions. Pick one. Is the first suggestion. 2, get more groups. Okay? If you got to do more than one idea, then you got to get more groups. Otherwise, you pick one idea. Okay? And you stick with the idea for a little bit. And limit your scope, dude. Okay? Your campaign idea does not have to last for 20 to level 20. It doesn't got to go to level 10. It might just go to level 5. It's a small idea that gets people to level 5. And then the other idea that you had, your campaign at level 5 could transition to the other idea. You know, there's nothing that says that an idea for a campaign must be grandiose and like go all the way to level 20, because most groups don't get to level 20, right? So yeah, that's my suggestion for you. The spreadsheet's really weird, guys. Like the rows, if you see how tall the rows are, they're like a mile tall. If we take the first one, the paste cell, there we go, that helped. All right. Marcus West, and then I can't see the whole name. Then I gotta make that one wide. There we go. Marcus Westphal. I got 1 cat. Oh, hold on. Hey, look at that. That's Squeaky. He's like, I am ready to be on camera. I am being as adorable as I possibly can. Please turn on the cat cam. And then I have Guapo right. You can see his tail. Guapo right here is rubbing against me. He's like, I recognize that there's a camera going on. And then Squeaky. Yeah, Squeaky. Woohoo! Guapo. Oh, there's a couple of them. Yeah. There we go. That is our cat cam, ladies and gentlemen. They're adorable. Squeaky's gonna go right back to where he was. All right, I was in the middle of a question. Marcus is saying, how should you run a Greek myth campaign, especially if the monster isn't the manual? You make them up, dude. So there are 2 ways you can do it, okay? So like how to run a Greek mythology campaign. That's the scope of that question is probably not within the realm of a live chat video. But if your question has to do with like a Greek mythology monster that's not in the monster manual, then go to the monster manual, find something that's close enough, and then you just reskin the stat block. You know, like you could take the Hydra out of the monster manual, could represent any number of beasts. The Hydra in the monster manual could represent a 9-headed or 8-headed lion or something. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. So you find something that's close and you just call it that thing. Maybe tweak the stat block if you want to, you know, but you just kind of you guess on a little bit. That's all you can really do, unless you want to custom make your own monster, which is not as easy as one would hope. I actually tried to do a live stream months ago where we custom made some monsters, and let me tell you, I had a breakdown about halfway through the stream. My brain was like in meltdown mode, trying to figure out one of the rules of how to calculate the CR and stuff. It was not a pretty moment. Okay, so you might want to just take an existing stat block and reskin it and call it whatever it happens to be. Near Dockside says, how do you always have that barbarian face paint in the same place? Well, so there are 2 tricks to that. First of all, I'll tell you one thing, is that I film my videos in batches. So I film all of my videos for 1 month on the same day. So I script all my videos, I get all my equipment set up in the backdrop back here, and then I film everything on the same day. Well, technically, I do all of my talking head videos on one day, and then the next day I do all of my skits up in my like formal dining room area. So you see that barbarian face paint in the exact same place on at least 4 videos in a row, maybe 5, depending on how many videos there are in the month. Okay, but then there's gonna be a point in time where you'll notice that it's a little bit different, because basically all I do is I paint my hand and then I go like this, and then I kind of like just make sure it's on there, and then I take it off, and then I look in the mirror and I take a paintbrush and I fill it in. So it's mostly just, it's always the same. It's always me going boom, right? So it's usually gonna be kind of close, but it's not gonna be perfect. So if you pay attention, you can tell where the cutoff is, and it's usually the first of every month. For instance, all of my December videos are going to be identical, but the first video in January, it'll be a little bit different, so you can catch it that way. Guapo is still rubbing against my leg. He's petting himself. Yep, use hashtag question mark, folks. The spreadsheet that we're using actually has like a little macro or something built into it to parse your answers. So it is actually important that you use hashtag all caps question mark to trigger certain special things. Michigan and Washington YouTube. That's funny. My favorite food? It's vegetables. Carrots, I like celery and spinach. Radishes in there. That's really good stuff. Apples and I don't know, dude. something. I love pizza. Pizza's really good, but I'm trying to cut back on that crap. It's not good for me. I eat lots of vegetables now. I'm trying to do that crap. So, all right, Spook the King. I have a player who, after being told to make a character for an adventure-heavy campaign, made the loner bounty hunter archetype. I told him to change it, and he's refusing. How to address? He's refusing. Was he refusing? Okay, go play a different game then. I mean, so that's my gut reaction. My gut reaction is like, so you know that I told everybody that we're playing a group-focused game. Okay, we're playing a game where we all play together as an adventuring party as a group. And you, knowing that, brought a character to the table who's a loner. And you want to stick with your loner. No. I mean, how are you going to slice that? Like, we're going to play together as a group. Well, my character wouldn't do that. That's not what my character would do. Well, then you need to roll up a character who's not, spitting in the face of everybody who came to the game table wanting to play together and have fun together. Okay? So, if he's refusing to do it, I would say, well, then, your character can't play with the group. What do you want to do here, buddy? These are the parameters. We all agreed that we're going to play a game together. And you came up with so I basically have 2 requirements that I tell my players when they're creating characters. First of all, I run group-focused games. We play together as a group. Okay, which means that your character, whatever character you roll up, needs to have a reason to stay with the group. Okay, now occasionally going off and doing things, not a big deal, you know what I mean? But for the most part, you have a motivating reason to stay together with the group, okay? And second of all, you have a reason to actually go on adventures and lead the adventuring life. We don't need you to come into the very first game session and say, my character doesn't like violence a whole lot, and this adventuring stuff is kind of dangerous. I would rather, I'm going to go become a barkeep. I think I'm going to go get a job as a barkeep, if that's not the game we're running, man. Okay, so you got to come wanting to be part of the group and go on adventures. Okay, bring a character who wants to do that stuff. Don't roll up a character who wants to be a loner and who wants to go start up a business or something. That's not the game we're running. So he's not playing nice, in my opinion. And he's basically he wants to make everybody's life crappy because he wants to go off by himself and he wants to make the dungeon master run 2 games at the same time. He's basically trying to ruin the group's fun. That's not the group has the right, and the dungeon master has a right as part of that group to say these are the parameters for our game. Everybody play nice and let's have fun within these parameters. It isn't like everything goes. So he's probably in the wrong group. He probably needs to find a group that wants to run that sort of game. That's my answer to that. If he refuses to do it, what are you going to do? He's probably got to find a group that wants to play that game, would be my answer. It's not the right fit. It's not the right fit for anybody. So that sucks. But that's the answer, I think. The guy 85. What up, dude? How you doing, man? Philip Ketchup, hello. Thumbs up. I like pizza. I do like pizza. All right. Everybody's like, I just ate pizza. Yes, thank you, Spoof King. This is a very nice mug. It was like, I think it was like $15 or something. Is the price? Oh, wait, the price tag is still on it. Hold on. I gotta make sure I don't spill anything. Oh, I can't really read it. I'm sorry, it wasn't expensive. But it's pretty cool. All right, next question. Overclocked 2020, what up? Hey, Luke, me again. Lord Paxton is my inspiration for my big bad. Cool. Can you give me his general plans, personality, and bonds? Be slightly vague. I don't know if your players are watching this stream. His general plans? Establish an empire with him as the lead. He wants to reestablish New Astoria. Astoria was the giant empire back in the day before the giants and the dragons all had their big war that decimated both sides. And he wants to start up a new Astoria. And so he is setting up vassal states that operate underneath him. My players know this. Those are his plans. And so he doesn't want to kill everybody. He wants people to pledge themselves as his vassals, and he wants to help them. Like, he's not out to kill everybody. He wants to create an empire of prosperity and control with him at the head, but ultimately prosperity. But if people don't cooperate with that, if you don't go along with that, then he's not adverse to submitting you to his will either, right? His personality, I have no idea. His bonds, I have no idea. So a lot of these things I don't flesh out way in advance, right? It's very vague in my head. I know what he wants, I know what his goals are, and I know what he's doing to accomplish those goals. And in so much as the characters interact with him and those plans, things become more fleshed out. But I don't do too heavy of a planning in advance on those things. You know, as it becomes relevant, those things get created. And it might get created on the fly during a campaign in a game when it becomes relevant too. So there you go. Number 8 in the spreadsheet, Kyler Christian. Do you have any tips to get the quiet individuals at the table to join in on the RP? No. So here's the thing, dude. Yeah, I kind of have a tip, but I think it's important to understand as well that not all of your players are the same. Not everybody comes to the game table with the same goals, with the same personalities, desires, and not all the same player types, okay? Some players want to be the center of the spotlight and do these things and blah, 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 whatever. Other players are content to just sit back, watch things unfold, and they're enjoying themselves and they're having fun. They might not be actively participating and getting in on things, but they participate in combat or something, or every so often they'll say something. They're not the most outspoken. Sometimes they might be quiet, they might be shy. It might not be their variety of fun, right? But they might be perfectly content to just sit back and participate in their own way, you know? And so it's important to kind of be cognizant of that and try to recognize that sort of thing. The caveat to that is at least allow the opportunity for the quiet folks to contribute, right? Like occasionally, like if I got a couple players that are dominating the conversation, I'll just be reading the table and I'll be like, a couple guys have been quiet, and I'll just kind of get these guys to, you know, calm it down for a second, and then I ask the dude over here, hey, what do you think? What would you like to do? Do you want to say anything to this guy or whatever, you know? And I'll address him, and I'll just give him, sometimes you got to quiet down the hyperactive people that always want to talk and do all the actioning stuff. Quiet them down for a second, put them on pause, and then to allow the opportunity for people to participate. Because sometimes they want to, but it might be hard, or sometimes people just don't want to talk over others. They think it's rude. And if they never get a chance to say anything, then they end up just being quiet the whole time. So just kind of be aware of that situation and make sure people have the opportunity. I wouldn't force it though, because it's not everybody's cup of tea. Different people like to play the game a different way, you know? So there's a fine line between like encouraging someone to be more involved, giving them the opportunity to be more involved, and then pressuring them when it might not be what they want to do. Right? They might be perfectly fine being kind of quiet and just being there and experiencing it, and then participating in combat or something or every so often. So just be cognizant of that. I think that's a general idea for you. So I got 7 and 8 are done. I'm going to color those in. Boom. And number 9. Ninja Theory. Ash, What up? Dude, I can't read your last name. We've been over Ninja Theory. We've talked about this before. Okay? Your last name is dangerous to me. Okay? Some people like meat. Some like potatoes. D&D is a stew. It's all right for people to pick out the pieces they like. Yeah, I agree. As long as everybody's picking out pieces and everybody's having fun, right? And nobody's throwing pieces at other people's faces. I don't know if that metaphor makes sense. That metaphor might have just broken. All right, next question. All right, ZZN Plays. Since my campaign's main plot ended, my player wanted to continue playing, so I'm thinking of adding a new encounter that will lead them to a new story. How can I proceed to do that? Yep, there you go. That's the answer. They're at the game table, give them a new encounter, and have the new encounter have some sort of hook in the next thing. That's the answer, dude. I don't know what I can tell you besides giving you a very specific answer, but I usually don't crowdfund ideas. Okay? My whole shtick is giving people like the resources and information so that they can come up with their own solutions to things like this. You know, if you need to crowdfund an idea, then I suggest Facebook or Reddit, and you're going to get tons of people to crowdfund creative ideas. If you go onto certain Facebook groups, you can like type in, I have a Tabaxi rogue. I need name suggestions, and you're going to have like 500 people with like name suggestions. All right, next one. The fanboy of Eton. DMing for the first time, but my players are very newbie and predict they'll be murder hobos. How would I deal with that? So, your players predict they're going to be murder hobos, or you predict they're going to be murder hobos? I wouldn't deal with anything. Until you find out what actually happens, there's nothing to be done. Find out what actually happens. Okay? A lot of times, I mean, if they're players, in my experience, when I have a brand fresh new player at D&D, and they realize that they can do anything at all in the world, the biggest issue usually is getting them to understand that there is a plot hook in the game and that there is kind of an adventure over here to be had. A lot of times new players are just like, I can do anything. I start climbing that tree over there. And I'm going to start jumping from tree to tree. Oh, that's really cool. And then they just go on this tangent of like craziness that has nothing to do with like the adventure. So usually in my experience, like getting them to understand that there's an adventure over here or understand the concept of a plot hook, that sort of thing is the most difficult thing. It's actually very useful to have some veteran players in a group with new players because the veterans kind of know the shtick and can help guide them to the idea that, hey, the Dungeon Master creates a cool adventure for us to go on. If we go on that adventure, it's going to be lots of fun. If we just keep climbing trees and like sitting on like animals, then that's fun, but like let's do that for a little bit and then let's go have an adventure. If they turn out to be murder hobos, then there are ways to deal with murder hobos. The number one way to deal with murder hobo, I actually have in my video backlog. I plan on making a video on how to deal with murder hobos. If you go onto YouTube, there are lots of other content creators that have already done lots of videos on murder hoboing, you know, and I'm sure they have good advice. My number one piece of advice for dealing with murder hobos is to run. Who's going to know? Okay, Galen. All right, gotcha. Thank you, buddy. I wanted you to interrupt so that I can mod you. There you go, buddy. You're all set. All right. The number one piece of advice I can give for dealing with murder hobos is to run your game world like an actual living world where there are consequences. If I walk out right now to the local 7-Eleven and kill the person behind the counter, you know what's going to happen? Police, okay? Me, jail, problems, okay? That's what's going to happen. So why do we think that in the D&D world, when the level 1 players go and like steal from the shopkeeper, beat him up and throw him out on the street, that nothing's going to happen? Like why would nothing happen? In what world does nothing happen? Of course something is... There are probably possibilities where nothing happens. In certain towns, blah, 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 whatever. But for the most part, there's going to be consequences, okay? The guards in the town, the shopkeeper's family, a stinking, what do you want to call them? One of those posses. They get a posse together to come after the adventurers. If the adventurers are possible, the people in that town hire more powerful adventurers to come get your party's adventurers who are breaking the law. There's a multitude of things that would happen. So the number one way to deal with murder hobos is to have your game world, don't stop them from killing people. Have there be consequences. They killed someone? Great. You're arrested and you've been executed. Roll a new character. I wouldn't necessarily make it as like succinct as that, you know, but like that's ultimately, once they realize that this is like a real world and like when we do bad things, like there are consequences, they're going to start thinking twice about doing those sorts of things. So that's my number one piece of advice for dealing with murder hobos. All right. Next question, number 11. Do I have any cats over here? Oh, they all left me. Squeaky left me. Guapo left me. It's horrible. It's crazy. Neighbors with pitchforks. That's a good idea, Andrew. Natalie, thou shalt be thrown in ye old fantasy jail. Yeah, and you share your jail cell with a mind flayer for kicks. There you go. I'm just scrolling the chat now. Nice. All right, sweetness. I'll just see if there's anything interesting over there. Next question. Daniel Loudon. If you turn both cats into a minion, what would they be and why? Both cats into a minion? Oh. Kobolds. I don't know. I like kobolds. I'd make both of them kobolds. There you go. Kobolds are fun. No better reason needed. Oh. All right. Jack Anderson. How do you get players to stop being murder hobos? Check, done, answered. Wow, that was an easy one. Penguin Butt. Hello, Penguin Butt. How do you handle, run, or describe downtime? Do you just go from adventure to adventure, or do you actually take a break to do other things? Yes, I take breaks. In fact, what up, DM Smiley? How you doing, buddy? In fact, not only do I, you know what? Hold on a second. Oh, I'm just gonna turn my fan on. I'm looking on camera. I'm like, I have a little bit of perspiration going on, so I bet if I turn my fan on, that would help take care of that. So downtime. Yes, I do downtime. In fact, a lot of times what I do is I have a mandatory downtime rule. For some of my groups, not all of them, but some of them I have a mandatory downtime whereby after every major adventure, you have to take a week of downtime. And what this does is it like, it's the realism in a way of like, you just went on a crazy adventure over the course of a day where you exerted yourself to like all of your physical abilities. You need some time to rest from that, okay? But the real reason is to give them the opportunity to pursue other things. Because if you go, I mean, the Dungeon Master Guide has some downtime options, but Xanathar's Guide to Everything has a lot more, and they're really good, and I use them. And if you're running an Acquisitions Incorporated game, which I am with 2 of my groups, then there's more downtime rules in there. And they give you lots of cool things that you can pursue on the side, or just utility things like wizards can make scrolls and stuff like that. So there are lots of cool little options there that gives the players some abilities to do stuff besides just go on adventures and do the normal, adventuring thing, completing missions and killing monsters and all that kind of stuff, getting treasure and gold. And also the downtime stuff can also be an opportunity to spend that gold on certain things, because that's a problem in the D&D world. In 5th edition especially, if you run by the loot rules in the Dungeon Master Guide, you get tons of gold, but at a certain point, there's nothing to spend it on, and you have way too more gold than you're ever going to use. And so downtime gives a way to spend some of that, okay? So yeah, and downtime is a little bit slower. Sometimes it's not always the most interesting part of the game. It depends on what you make it and what your players make it. I try to take, when we take downtime, I try to wrap it up in about a half an hour or so at the game table. because I think a lot of my players enjoy the adventuring aspect of things. And so the downtime, they can usually just state kind of the general idea of what they want to do. We consult the rules and we roll some dice. We determine what the result is going to be. And then, oh, you got 2 favor with that religious organization that you were serving. Okay? And we kind of move on. We don't expand it into a huge part of the game. You could if you want to, and that might be really fun. I don't know. But that's kind of how I do it. Please forever. I want to make some custom classes for my campaign. What are do's and don'ts? I don't know, dude. The only thing I can tell you is try to make them balanced according to existing classes. The number one thing I always see with homebrew stuff is it's usually way unbalanced. It's way too powerful when you compare it with stuff out of the character handbook or Xanathar's. Although Xanathar's, some of that stuff's pretty powerful too. But homebrew usually just knocks it out of the park. It's like twice as powerful, so my only thing I would say, just from a dungeon master point of view, I guess, is make it balanced with other existing things. Beyond that, whatever, man. I don't think there are any rules. I'm trying to find people who I haven't already answered questions for. I'm trying to make sure I spread the love around a little bit. This guy, 85, do you use milestones? If so, any advice? Yes, I use milestones. Advice on using milestones. Use them? I would put them, so I put the milestones, it depends on how big my adventures are, but a lot of times I have a milestone after every objective. Okay, for instance, let's pretend, you know what, let's just consult the spreadsheet, shall we? I'm going to show you my notes for my Sword Coast Guard group. Let me pull it up over here, and I'm going to show you how I do this. If any of my players are watching this, you're going to ruin your game experience by watching this. So skip this part. My players are probably not watching this. They're like, we've seen live streams before. We see you every week, Luke. We don't need to watch you in a live stream, Luke. So they're probably not. All right. So I don't know if you can see this. So basically, this is the plan. These are objectives. Okay, these are adventure milestones. They had to go against some giants, the hill giants, the frost giants. Raskindelver was a dragon, and then they have to fire giants, and then there's an invasion of Waterdeep that's going to happen. Okay, and each of these is a milestone. Once they have dealt with this problem, once the problem has been dealt with, then they gain a level. That's it. So the frost giants, they dealt with them. They killed a lot of them, and then they killed the leader, and then the rest of them got killed by a dragon and a bunch of kobolds and stuff. This dragon right here, they killed themselves. They dealt with it. Okay, so each time they completed one of these objectives, these big objectives, they got a level. And they kind of half-butted the frost giants on the first go. They didn't actually deal with them. They convinced the frost giants to leave their stronghold and go march against the fire giants. And then the frost giants figured out what was going on because Lord Paxton saw what was going on and is like, no, that's not happening. My frost giants are not going to kill my fire giants. And the frost giants were sent to start sacking a whole bunch of villages. Okay, so they kind of didn't actually solve that problem. They thought they did, and they were all excited about it, but no, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that easy. That was a good story, though. I think I did a video on that. There's a video on that whole thing on my channel about that, how that all happened and stuff. But anyway, that's kind of how I do it. It's not super complex. I just pick a big event, a big situation, and once that situation is resolved, then they get a level. Now, each of these happens to be an adventure they go on. Now, I use, what was I going to say? I used to be kind of like stingy with levels. I'd make my players like play for kind of, I don't know, a couple months or something before they get a level. But now I'm kind of giving them levels a little bit faster, because it's more fun that way, I think. And you know, it's not a big deal. So I think generally how I'm doing it now is every adventure, not for one of my groups. There's one of my groups that has very short adventures. It doesn't apply to them. But for at least one of my other groups, like all my groups, I can't keep them straight. One of my other groups, they have longer adventures. And so every time they complete a longer adventure, they get a level. Now, for instance, my Patreon game that I have over on Patreon, those guys, they have shorter adventures. Now, they happen to take a long time completing them, but the adventures are short, and they have to complete a couple of them, or 2 or 3 of them, before they actually gain a level. So it just kind of depends on how lengthy your adventures are and how quickly you want your party to progress through the game. There's nothing wrong with fast tracking them, so that you can get the higher levels, because a lot of people never play at high levels, How many groups do I have? So I have my Patreon game. That's like twice a month. I have my Sword Coast Guard game. That is twice a month. I have my Youngling group with some teenagers that I play. That's about once a month. I am a player in a game. It's a Descent into Avernus game, and it's actually a game with some other YouTubers. I play with Nate from WASD20. I play with Juice and his wife Paula from Master the Game, and then I play with Jake from Minion Terrain Domain. I'm screwing that up. Sorry, Jake. I can't remember the name of your channel. It's something like that. Anyway, I play with those guys. And then occasionally I play. I don't DM that game. I play in that game. And then I play in a game with... I used to be a dungeon master for the game, but I didn't have enough time for it. Now I'm just a player in it. So that's like 4, I think. Yeah, just like 4. But I'm only dungeon mastering 3 of them. It's just 3. It used to be 4. I cut back to 3. I'm cutting back. I think I answered that question. I got that one. All right. How do I set up a basic enemy? I don't know. There are a lot of them already set up in the Dungeon Master Guide. You can just go pick one. I don't know, man. Your enemy has... I don't know what you're asking in your question. Your enemy has... he's got to have some sort of goal, some sort of motivation in the game world. There's something that he wants to accomplish, something that he wants to do, okay? He has a motive. And this thing that he wants to do usually creates conflict in the game world, okay? For instance, there is a necromancer, and his wife is dead and trapped in some different plane. And the necromancer wants to get his wife back. So to get his wife back, he is raising undead armies to basically attack this church, let's say, that has an artifact that he believes is going to get his wife back. And so he is creating this undead army. He has a motivation to get his wife back. He's creating an undead army to attack a church to get an artifact to get his wife back. The conflict is that the undead are in the game world doing bad things and then ultimately trying to attack this church. So that's how you set up an enemy, okay? Motivation. And then there's that what he's trying to do in the game world. So he's got a motivation, he's got a means, a method of doing that thing, the undead army. And then that creates conflict in the game world. And your players intersect with that. They see the conflict. Maybe the church people come and say, help us. And then your players engage with that and they solve it, right? Somehow, right? And setting up that situation and then giving your players the freedom to engage with that and solve it however they want. That is the special sauce, okay? Because your players might not just kill all the zombies and kill the necromancer. Your players might go talk to the necromancer and then figure out what the problem is. And then maybe they just go talk to the church people and say, hey, this dude just wants to borrow this artifact real quick, maybe get his wife back, and then he'll stop. That might solve it, okay? It might just solve that problem. Let's see. I have to run a D&D session for my mom. Any advice? Wow, I don't know. Make it fun. I don't know. If your mom likes blood and gore, cool. If she doesn't, then maybe keep it a little bit, less bloody and gory. I have no idea, dude. I mean, I would just... If I were running a game for my mom... I would just run the normal game that I run for any of my players. They all seem to like it pretty well. So hopefully it works the same for her. Nice agium. Nice to minimum. Something like that. DM for just shy of 40 years here. I am always the DM. Currently running a game of 6 very new players. How do I help coach or convince other players to step up? Oh, to step up and run the game? Oh, dude, I don't know. I would just bug them and bother them, you know? I'd be like, hey, man, I need a break. Can you just run the game real quick? You know, I would just like bug them a little bit and kind of hint at them, you know, especially if there was one of them that like I thought might be do a good job at it, you know. I don't know. I would just kind of bug them. I'd talk to them. I'd constantly be like that, and then I might be like, hey guys, you know, I need to take a break. I'm taking a break for a month or two. Will one of you run the game for us? Because I need a break. And then just kind of like get someone to do it, you know? I don't know if there's necessarily a good way to do that. It might depend on your players, but that might be a thing to do, you know? Yeah. I mean, that's when I stopped my Waterdeep whatever Dragon Heist campaign or whatever. That's kind of what I did. I was like, you guys, I can't run the game for you anymore. Like I'm too busy. I'm too busy with like my YouTube channel and other stuff that I'm doing, and I just can't run the game for you anymore. You know, does anybody want to run the game? And because I can't do it. And then one of my players was like, yeah, I'll run it. You know, and so then he ran the game. Now he actually had experience doing it, but I had another player who hadn't had any experience doing it, and he was interested in doing it and willing to do it as well. So sometimes they just need to like, you know, kind of be pushed up to the edge of the cliff, you know, and then convinced to jump off themselves. So I'm not sure. That's all that comes to my mind, I guess. I don't know if that's helpful, but Cameron F. Hello. What things would you DM for a single player that you wouldn't DM for a group? I don't know. I don't think there's anything that comes to my mind. I've had a game with one player before when I was in high school. I mean, I had a group in high school, but then that group kind of fell apart, and then I had one player, and I ran the exact same sort of games for him that I ran for like the entire group before. There was no difference in how I ran the game. You know, I just accounted for the fact that there was one player. So I don't, in my mind, there's not a big difference. Champion Slayer says, this is my first time being a Dungeon Master, and I have 2 first-level players about to enter a bandit camp. I need to know how much CR this bandit camp should be and how to lower it. Okay, here we go. We are going to go over, sir, to a encounter calculator, and I'm going to show you how you figure this stuff out. So here's a link in the chat to where you want to go, and then we're going to do a little quick tutorial on how to figure this stuff out. So you have 2 players. Did you say they're level 1? What level did you say they were? Hold on. Stand by. Give me 1 second. Sorry. You said they were 2 first level players. All right. 2 first level players. So character level 1, there are 2 of them. We're going to calculate. Let me do a little zoom action. Make sure you all can see this. And then I put those fields in there. Character level 1, number of monsters. Let's pretend the bandits are CR 1/2. Okay? And then let's pretend there are 2 of them. Not 21, 2 of them. Calculate it. That's a deadly encounter. I now know that 2 1/2 bandits against my party would most likely kill them. Okay? So, that's not a good idea. Maybe I should have 1 of them. Calculate. Hey, that's a hard encounter. That's a little bit more reasonable. Maybe CR 1/2 is too much. Maybe I need to go down to CR 1/4 and have a couple of them. That's still deadly. That's still deadly. Maybe I need to do a CR, maybe 1 of them. You see what I'm doing? I'm just using this and I'm just calculating and getting rough ballparks of what they can handle based on the CRs of the monster. And that's all you got to do, man. You just use this site right here, punch the math to get a general idea, and this is going to go a long ways. I will tell you this though, dude. When you have 2 characters, whatever they encounter is going to be harder possibly than this sheet will tell you, because they don't have very good action economy. There's only 2 of them, okay? So I would aim for easy or medium stuff at the beginning. You can't actually see that because it's not scrolling far enough. Whoops. My logos and stuff are covering that up. Sorry. Right here is where you can see the actual encounter difficulty. So if I had 2 of these things and then I calculate it, you can see that it's deadly right there. And then if I put 1 of them and you calculate it, you can see that it's easy. All right. So at low levels, though, low levels are very swingy and challenging for players and their characters. So I would aim low. Aim for easy or aim for medium stuff at low levels. Once they get to about level 3 or 5, then you can start going into like more mediums and more hard stuff. Characters in 5th edition are more resilient at that point. Okay, but at the very beginning, easy or medium, and play by ear. See how your players are handling it, because you might need to adjust things. You almost always need to adjust things based on your players. I had one group that was not very powerful because they didn't play their characters. They didn't min-max, and they didn't have extremely good tactics. Some of them didn't even have ranged weapons. Okay, and so I had to put my little kid gloves on with them a little bit. I have another group that some of them do min-max, and all of them mostly use pretty darn good tactics. So for them, I throw crazy deadly stuff at them, and they do okay. So part of it is just judging things by how your players do as well. All right, let's move. Hope that was helpful, buddy. Move to the next question. I think I kind of answered that one already. This is T. Palom. I arrange for the table to agree to rotate Dungeon Master each floor of the dungeon. Gotcha. 1 level per floor. Now I have the idea that knowing the tricks of the DM kills the magic. What do you think? So, like, you already read the other floors of the dungeon? Like, you know what is on the next level as the Dungeon Master? Like, because you were DMing this level, you read ahead to the next level, and now you know what the tricks are, and that kills yeah, that's going to destroy it for you. Absolutely. If you've already read the adventure, then there's no fun to be had. There's no mystery. There's no suspense, And how do you not possibly, like, metagame and stuff like that? So, yeah. If that's what you're saying, then 100% that would ruin the game. It would ruin the game for me. Like right now, so I'm like, so I bought this Descent into Avernus book. Okay, I was really excited about it. I'm like, this is going to be pretty dang cool. And then my buddy Juice from Master the Game, he's like, hey guys, I want to run a game. We're going to run Descent into Avernus. And so guess what? Now I can't read this, because if I read this, it will ruin my game experience, and I will have no fun in his game. So this sits on my shelf, and it looks pretty freaking sweet, and I would love to read it, but I can't. I have to, to sit here for a year or 2 with a cool book on my shelf and not read it. Otherwise, I'm going to ruin things for myself, so I don't read it. Brett Pedro, see you later, buddy. No problem, man. Glad to help. Thanks for joining us, man. And Natalie Spain is leaving. Bye, Natalie. Oh, you have no idea what they're planning? Well, how is it ruining it for you then? T-Palm, if you have no idea what they're planning, then how does it ruin it for you? Oh, you're saying that okay, I think I know what you're saying. You're saying that when you know all the tricks that the Dungeon Master uses to run the game, that ruins it for you. Okay. Hey, this guy 85. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'll see you next time. Appreciate that, man. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it can. My camera went out of focus. Hello, my face is here. Hey, there it is. There it goes. Yeah, it can ruin it for you. A lot of times, like when I'm playing the game, I know what a Dungeon Master is doing, and I kind of know if he's doing something or other, because I've done it before myself. And it kind of can, I think I get beyond it and I kind of ignore it and I just take my pleasure where I can, but I think I see what you're saying. There's not much you can do about it. My favorite character class is a rogue, Jack Anderson. I love rogues. They're great in all situations. They're great in combat. They're great in role-playing situations. They're great in exploration situations. There is everything to love about rogues. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm not getting buried in questions today. I'm actually kind of keeping up with the ones that I see. That's good. A lot of times I get so many of these things that I have like no chance to even keep up with them. So that's awesome. So I can like relax a little bit. What's the best voice to use for a copper dragon wormling? Hello. That's too much of my Gary the Intern voice. Hello. I have a quick question here. Don't squash me. There you go. I don't know. Take that. Use that voice. Just pick something, man. Just play around with changing your voice until you find something that you think sounds cool, you know? Like, maybe it's a little raspy. Put a little bit of a rasp in it and then talk like that, you know? It might have a higher pitched voice because it's a little wormling, you know? I don't know. Maybe it talks like, oh, hello. I don't know. Just change stuff around. Just play with it, dude. And then you'll find something that's awesome, you know? Copper dragons love conversation. Oh, that's interesting. Curly swirly. Nice. Yes, clerics are fun. I agree, DM Smiley. Clerics are a lot of fun. Yeah. What do I think of warlocks? I think warlocks used to be my least favorite class in the entire game because I looked at a warlock and I was like, you suck. I'd be like, this stupid warlock. So, like, I get 2 spell slots and I'm almost always going to use those spell slots on Hex because I'm a min-maxer. That's how I play. I'm almost always going to use those spell slots on Hex because it lasts for the longest and it does lots of extra damage over the course of time, you know, and that's boring as crap, you know, so like that sucks. However, then Xanathar's comes out with the blade lock. They call it a blade lock. What is it actually called? Hexblade? I think it's called the Hexblade archetype. And that actually totally makes the warlock playable. Not only playable, warlock is now, I think, for me, the little that I've been able to play a Hexblade warlock is now competing for one of my favorite classes because now with the blade lock, I am now good at melee combat because you can use your charisma bonus for melee stuff for like damage and attack and whatnot. So I can go in and do melee stuff. I have Eldritch Blast for ranged stuff, and I have spell slots that I can now, you know, use for other cool things if I want to, you know, as opposed. So for whatever reason, everything seemed to click with me personally as a player with the Hexblade class of the warlock or the archetype of the warlock. And then I love having a high charisma because I love to be able to do social interaction stuff in the game, you know, having like high persuasion, deception and stuff like that, all really, really cool for me, you know. So yeah, that is sweet. I totally dig that. Yeah. Nithrius says, Copper Dragons love conversation. Make it a valley girl. Absolutely. Like, totally. So, like, you know what? The other day, I was just talking to my friend, my friend over there, the other copper wormling dragon, and we were just having this conversation, and, like, we totally thought it would be outstanding. You could probably do better than that. But that would be freaking hilarious. Valley girl. All right. Ooh, a question in blue. All right, so this presumably is a good question. Let's see what we got here. Casbell says, Thurgy Wizard, Forge Domain, player, a Thaumaturgy Wizard, maybe, wants to use a Spider Familiar to hold 1 ball bearing. Okay, I'm with you. To go inside a large creature's bowel, then cast Heat Metal to force continuous damage. Would you allow it? No. I might. Here's how I would do this. I would probably look at my player and I'd be like, that is a hilarious idea. I'm going to tell you what. Because that is a very creative and hilarious idea, I'm going to allow you to do it this one time, okay? But it's not plausible, okay? And it's not likely. And you have to be able, when you cast heat metal, it probably specifies in the spell that you have to be able to see the thing that you're casting heat metal on, okay? So you as the spellcaster have to be able to see that ball bearing. And once it's inside somebody, you can't see it anymore. And your spider probably can't see it anymore either, because he doesn't have blind sight when he's inside something's bowel. And a spider familiar is probably not going to be able to travel through somebody's, like, if he's going through the mouth and he gets, I don't know. I don't think it's plausible, but I'd say yes once because it's a good idea. It's creative and fun, and we'd have a good time of it. But that's it. I'd say in the future that's not going to work. I think I'd probably do that, honestly, because that is a pretty fun idea. And I would reward the player with the one time you can do it. But after that, it's not realistic. It's not plausible, in my opinion, to do that. Oh, I have a cat down here now. He's on the wrong side of the camera. Spoof King. This question's in gray. I don't know what gray means. So there was one question in blue, and then there was a question in gray. So is the gray question not to answer that question? Like, be careful of that question? Anyway, Spoof King says, do you allow homebrew learning systems where a player can spend gold and downtime learning how to use... spend gold and downtime learning how to use certain weapons and tools to gain proficiency with them? I mean, there is a downtime activity in Xanathar's, I think called training, and you can gain proficiencies. Now they turn it to blue. Okay. You can gain proficiencies. It's in the rule book. So yes, I would allow that because it's in the rule book. One. But even if it weren't in the rule book, yes, I would say you could do that. I think it would take time. Okay, like, so if you want to learn how to use carpenter tools, what's a reasonable amount of time to learn how to use carpenter tools? That's a skill set that takes some time to develop. Okay, however, it can't take me a whole year of downtime to learn how to do it. Otherwise, players will never do it. So speed it up a little bit. Have it be after 3 downtimes, you can learn carpenter's tools, okay, or something. You know, make it take a little bit of time, but not so much that they're discouraged from doing it, you know. But I'd absolutely allow that sort of thing. They just have to work for it a little bit. You can't just say, oh yeah, 200 gold pieces and a week of downtime and you can learn a weapon and a language and a skill set. Because then your players can just be like, all right, we're gonna take 2 months of downtime, and among all of us, we're gonna learn everything. Okay? It can't be too easy, right? There has to be some challenge and some working for it. Otherwise, they could just get stuff too easily, and that doesn't work either, in my opinion. All right, next. Kyler Christian, if you had to make... Whoa, I think there's a cat down there. I just kicked my cat. Guapo! If you had to make a 5 NPC counterparty, not sure what that means, out of half dragons to combat the current PCs, what classes and colors would they be? So, like, a counterparty, a party of half dragons that's like specifically designed to counter the current party, to be like their perfect antagonists or something. I don't know. It depends on what your original party is. I would definitely throw in a wizard with like banishment, or Wall of Force. Wall of Force is a great one. Cut off a couple of the players. Maybe the wizard can also, maybe there's a second wizard that can use polymorph and polymorph 2 of the people into Tyrannosaurus Rexes. That's a good one. A druid that can wild shape and just keep turning into like wild shape forms to serve as like a hit point sponge. There might be a paladin with like smites, using polearm mastery with a reach weapon and sentinel. That would be really cool. I'm just thinking. I'm right now. I'm thinking of all of the nasty things that my players have done to me to thwart me as a dungeon master, and what I can do to pay the favor back. You know what I'm saying? So those are all the things I do. Wizards that cast animate objects on caltrops. That is a very powerful spell right there. Clerics that are just constantly, an enemy goes down, healing word, he's back up. And then he drinks a potion. Let your enemies use drink magic potions and stuff. Magic word, he's back up, healing potion. And it can be a big one. It can be like a supreme healing potion, And then your players are just like, crap. This is what we do to our dungeon master. This is not fair. I don't know. Something like that would be cool. Drayton. Me and my group want to start recording and putting our games up on YouTube or in a podcast. Do you have any do's or don'ts I should keep in mind? I don't know, dude. Just do it. Just start. I think so. The biggest impediment for anybody when you're trying to be successful at something is not doing it. Okay? Is trying to be perfect out of the gate. You can't think of perfection. You can't think of doing it the right way. The goal is to start doing it. Stop planning, stop perfecting, and just start doing. The moment you just start putting stuff out there, you are going to learn a whole crap load more than you will ever learn when you're thinking about doing the thing and when you're planning to do the thing. So just start doing it, and you're going to figure out a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to learn a whole bunch, and then you're going to get better at it. As long as you analyze what you're doing, because here's the thing, dude. I see lots of YouTube channels that do the exact same thing every single video, for a long time, months and maybe even years. And they're doing the exact same thing and nothing is changing. Their channels are remaining small, they're not growing, okay? They're very small and they're not growing, and they're doing the exact same thing that they've always done. Albert Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting different results. Okay? So an important part of any endeavor in life is to always have regular moments of introspection and analysis on what you're doing to continually improve and make it a little bit better. You need to start. You need to start doing something now, but then constantly look at it, analyze it, think about it, and figure out how can I make it better next time. Not perfect, just better, 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 better. Okay? That is a very important, I think, mentality just in life in general, and any human endeavor that we take. Okay? Huge thing that's going to help you be successful. Because there are lots of people that have tons of knowledge in their brains that are very smart, and they probably know a whole crap load more about running D&D games or doing a YouTube channel or something like that. They have knowledge here, okay? But they're not actually doing it. And therefore, they reap no benefits of it. So stop thinking too much and overthinking and planning and trying to perfect, and just start doing it. Execute. And you're going to learn a whole lot doing that. So there you go. That is my motivational talk for the evening. Yes, it's an Einstein quote, man. He was a pretty smart guy. I mean, he needed a better barber, but he was a pretty smart guy. If you a corollary to that, now that we're talking about it, if you look at some of my original videos on my channel, they're horrible. The video quality, the lighting, the editing, my presentation skills, all of that crap was horrible in my opinion when I look back on it. Okay? And there's this steady evolution of things getting better. Every time, I'm constantly analyzing and trying to make it better. So if you take one of my earliest videos way back in my catalog, and you compare it with the video that came out this last Tuesday, there's going to be a night and day difference, because I'm building up skills and I'm using new skills and I'm learning new things. You know what I mean? You don't see the exact same type of video. Luke was doing these same type of videos the whole time, if I had kept doing the same crappy videos I was doing at the beginning, and actually at least a few of the worst videos I took down. I was so like, this is horrible garbage. I just took them down. Like, these are out of here. But if I'd kept doing that same crap, that would have never grown or had any level of success. You know, you have to keep trying to improve what you're doing. So anyway, I'm going on like a rant or a lecture on that. So we should probably go back to Dungeons and Dragons. I just screwed up the spreadsheet. There we go. I fixed it. Yeah, dude, just start recording it. Get a record. Hey, you know what? Dude? Like, you can get a cheap camera. You can get a cheap camera if you want to actually. And here's what I do, man. If you play, I have a super cheap little tiny camcorder that I put on a tripod in a corner, and I record our videos, the ones that go on my the DM Lair Streams channel. Okay. I don't know if you guys, if you go into YouTube and just type in the DM Lair Streams, I don't have like a handy. That's the name. Whoops! It mentioned me. That's the name of my second YouTube channel, where I post my games, my Sword Coast Guard games, and all I have is a camera on a tripod in the corner, and then I do have a boom mic that comes over top of us and records the audio so that you actually get good audio. Okay, I do have that, but it's basically just a camera in the corner. It's nothing special. You don't need to do a Kickstarter and get $3 million to start up your own to videotape your own D&D game. It doesn't take a Kickstarter and $3 million to do your own D&D game. Okay, all it takes is like a $100 camcorder, a tripod in the corner, and you can do it. And you can also just stink and get a little tiny $100 quality game recorder, I don't know what they call them. They're like little tiny recorders, like audio recorders, and you can just record the audio as well. If you want to do it podcast style, Okay. Gabriel Justy. Do you use multi-modes or forms? Phase boss monsters? If yes, how? I'm going to drop my first on my players tomorrow. I have in the past. Yes, I have. What was it? I think it was like a giant egghead that it was like a gargantuan egghead that they were fighting. And once it had one pool of hit points, and once they depleted the first pool of hit points, I started using a second stat block that basically gave it more attacks, more abilities, and did more damage and all this kind of stuff. It got agitated, right? And it got nastier once they got through the first pool of hit points. And so I have done that before. Now the way that I implemented it, there is a guy called the Angry GM. I don't know if anybody has read his stuff. I haven't read him in a long time, like 2 or 3 years. But when I was reading his stuff like a while ago, he did some articles on multi-phase boss fights. And you can go to his site and dig through his stuff, and you might be able to find it in there. But it was his stuff on his site. Be prepared for some reading, okay? I think he has like very high word count goals, But there's lots of good information there. Okay, so I would go check that out. If you, James Kona says, how do you handle mass combat like a siege? Many small encounters or one big encounter? Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 things. First, I'm going to kind of explain to you how I handle it, and then I have an adventure that you can grab over on my site, thedmlayer.com, for free. That is a siege adventure, and that adventure will show you exactly how I handle sieges, in a way. So basically, the way I do it is if I'm running. Actually, you know what? I have a video on my channel about running siege adventures. I'm pretty sure I do. You can go dig for that. But the basic answer is. I just got distracted. The basic answer to that is there are certain encounters that I dream up as part of the siege that the players need to like confront and get past or defeat in order to what do you want to say? Have the siege be over, have the siege, end. So, like, for instance, in the adventure I had in mind, there were some giants that had a battering ram that were coming toward the gate of the castle. There were some more giants that had catapults off to the side that were flinging catapults at the castle. And then there was one other thing that I'm forgetting about, but there was some other sort of encounter that was out there. And then finally, there were the actual generals that were in charge of the siege, and they had tents over here in the middle of a massive orc encampment. And so basically, I told my players there are 4 different things going on. Battering ram, the catapults, the thing that I can't remember right now, and then the generals. Once you guys defeat those 4 elements of this siege, the siege will end. In other words, you don't have to go out and kill thousands of orcs that are out there. You just need to stop the catapults, you need to stop the battering ram, stop the other thing, and then stop the generals, okay? And you can do that however you want, okay? Mostly in whatever order, except that the battering ram is coming right now. So you might want to deal with the battering ram first, okay? And so that's kind of how I did it. So it was still your typical Dungeons and Dragons game where you have a small party going on. It was basically an adventure. It was an adventure with 4 different scenes in it. Okay, those 4 things that I had mentioned, and the players had to overcome each of them. And once they overcame them, the siege was finished. So, and then I'm gonna drop. Stand by. I'm gonna find my website here, and I'm gonna drop you a link to at least where you can find that adventure. Stand by. I just gotta pull it up here. I actually have lots of free adventures that you guys can download on this site. But if you go here and you scroll through it, it's called the Siege of something. The Siege of Gauntlet Hall. If you find the Siege of Gauntlet Hall, then that adventure right there kind of lays out what I did for that siege. So there you go. My mouth is dry. The catapults were flinging catapults? Yes. The catapults were flinging catapults, Cthulhu. And then when those catapults landed inside the courtyard, they begun flinging more catapults. And then at one point, there was a plethora of catapults that began flinging like stones. At that point, that's when things got really bad. It was really bad at that point. All right. More questions. I'm kind of tired tonight. Like, I feel tired tonight. Nobody cares. We don't care. Just answer our questions. Ariana Barnes. How would you do world building and match it with the storyline? I'm trying to get into DMing. So, like, if I were building a world, then I would start the world wherever the story starts to take place. And then wherever the story goes, I would build the world out from there. I would probably have a general overall concept of what my world is, but I wouldn't necessarily like try to flesh it out all at once. Wherever the story goes and wherever the characters go, I would start building the world at that point, if that makes sense. And that keeps your work as a dungeon master kind of under control. If you try to do everything all at once, it's an insurmountable task. There's way too much to be done in creating an entire world. I don't even bother to create a world. I just use pre-generated worlds like Forgotten Realms because they did the work for me. I don't need the extra work of creating a world. But I know that a lot of dungeon masters enjoy that, and that's fine. My advice is to keep it manageable and just build what you need when you need it. Soviet Sheep, hello. How you doing, buddy? Mason Labont, hello. I'm going to do flying catapults that land inside the walls. Where's the coffee? Do you need to upgrade to espresso? Dude, I have, you know what? My coffee's empty. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Woo! More coffee. And this is like half decaf and half normal coffee. So it's not even like 100% coffee. It's like halfway there. Wow, that's hot. Catapults, yes. Catapults. Catapults flinging cattle, yes. Rotting cattle. That's perfect. Catapults? Wow, decaf is heresy. You know, yeah. I prefer normal coffee. It definitely tastes better. I can't deal with too much caffeine. Caffeine causes problems with me. So I gotta cut back on that stuff. Penguin Butt says, do you personally do anything for Nat 1s? Like a crit fail table or anything like that? I don't. I did at one point, Mr. Butt. I can call you Mr. Butt. I'm going to call you Mr. Butt from now on. Dude, if your first name is Penguin and your last name is Butt, then the respectful way to address you is Mr. Butt. I'm sticking with that. All right. So I did critical fails and stuff, but my players didn't like it. Like, nobody liked it. Like, it was pretty much universally hated by my players. Now, were the things that like happened too bad? Maybe a little bit. I don't think they were horrible, but they weren't like good, you know. But they didn't like it, and it created additional logistics. Every time a 1 came up, I had to roll on a separate chart and then tell people what happened, and so it slowed the game down. It added like an extra layer of rules, and then players didn't like it, and I was like, why am I doing this? Why, if they don't like it and it's bogging the game down, then I'm not really getting any benefit out of it, am I? So I got rid of it. Drink dark coffee for lighter caffeine. The longer roasting takes it out. Are you serious? Nostalgium, are you serious? So if I love dark roast coffee, like French roast. I love French roast. It's so dark and bitter. So you're telling me that French roast has less caffeine in it? Cameron, I'm too stoned for this Mr. Butt business. Hey, I'm addressing the guy in the most respectful manner that I know how. And that is just, I'm using your last name. I think that's respectful. Beer man. Nithrius, that's true. So Nithrius says the danger of critical fumble chart is that players are subject to more critical failures than a monster is before it dies. Yes, that's the problem. Most players, especially at higher levels, they make more rolls than monsters do. And there's a higher probability of a character, of a player rolling on a 1 on the chart, you know, than a monster is. And something like a fighter gets lots of extra attacks. They are unduly penalized. Whereas if you look at a wizard, if a wizard has a fireball spell, there's no natural 1 on that because the monsters are making a saving throw. Or if the wizard is using a firebolt, that's 1 roll, okay? Whereas the fighter's making 4 rolls. And so the argument basically goes, you know, this is a high-level fighter, you know, and every time he swings his sword, there's a 5% chance that something horrible happens, you know? So basically, the more I train as a fighter, the better that I get as a fighter, the higher the chance, or the more chances that I'm going to have of something catastrophic happening. It doesn't make logical sense to me. You know what I mean? I think it's like at low levels is when you're going to have critical fumbles and you're going to do stupid crap like hit your buddy in the back. It's not at higher levels that would happen. That's when you're getting good and you're learning control and you're learning not to screw up. You know what I mean? So there's lots of things baked in my opinion, baked into the idea of critical fumbles, that just doesn't make logical sense either, That said, if people enjoy it and have fun with it, then use it. But like I said, if my players didn't like it, and so let's get that out of here, Dark roast has less caffeine. Dang it, you guys! Why didn't you tell me this before? Woon Xuan, or however you say your name, where have you been? Why were you not in my live stream like a year ago to tell me this stuff? And who's the first one that told me this? Nist. Okay, Nistagium. Nistagium. I'm going to call you Nest. I'm just going to call you Nest from now on, okay? Because I can't pronounce your name. Penguin Butt likes it. All right. Mr. Butt. All right, we got it. Jay in Atlanta, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I am glad you enjoy the content. Remember, if you have questions, do hashtag all question mark. I'm currently camped out in the chat just talking with you folks. But I swear I'll get back to questions eventually. Mr. Pages, hello! Mr. Pages! Mr. Pages, are you, I believe you are the same, you're one of my patrons, aren't you? I know I have a guy who wanted Mr. Pages, I think listed as something or other on something. A shout out in a YouTube video or something, I forget. But like, that name sounds very familiar to me. Yes? Okay, cool. All right, welcome, dude. Thanks for your patronage. By the way, if anybody, this is my shameless plug moment. If anybody is getting value out of the channel and you like all of the crap that I'm doing, and you want to say thank you, or you want to get some cool perks like hanging out with me, like one-on-one consultations or group hangouts, or being able to vote on videos that we do on the channel, then I have a Patreon page, and one of the tiers might be what you're looking for. There's a link down in the description to it. Feel free to go check that out. It is lots of cool stuff there. I think we have a monthly hangout coming up. Well, it's like mid-December. It's like mid-December or something. But basically, our monthly hangout is we have a voice chat where like my patrons and I like just talk. We just hang out and talk. People ask questions. Sometimes we just talk about dumb stuff too. So anyway, it's pretty cool. Check it out if you guys are interested. Tucker Brady, what up, dude? Cthulhu says, no worries, Luke. The chat is where we like you. Oh, awesome. I mean, I like staying in the chat. And the reason that I'm in the chat like a little bit more tonight is there are some nights that like the influx of questions is crazy. And so I'm trying to like just keep up with them and answer people's questions. But I much prefer to just like hang out and chat and read what you guys are saying. And my moderators right now are like freaking out. They're like, no, Luke, don't look at the chat. Because what happens, sometimes what happens, hey, Nist, thank you, buddy. I appreciate the $2, man. Sometimes what happens is when I start looking at chat, people start spamming their questions to get attention. My moderators have noticed that. And so they're like, look at the spreadsheet, Luke. Just look at the spreadsheet. Mr. Pages can personally recommend this Patreon page that you speak of. Yeah. I should probably just be totally shameless and drop a link to it in the chat. Would that be like over the top? Does this work? Why does it just say home? That's not the right one. There we go. That looks better. Bam. There you go. Shameless. Totally shameless. Let's answer a couple of questions and we'll come back to the chat. Make sure if you want to ask a question, hashtag question in all caps. Eric Clark is like, your channel, bro, do what you want. Yeah, but I don't want to be like a sleazy jerk about it either, where I like people think that I'm like, he just wants money. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. Martin Z-Man. I'm calling you Z-Man. Martin, I'm calling you Z-Man from now on. How important is downtime in your game? It's important. It's important enough. It happens on a regular basis. Now, in my Acquisitions Incorporated game, downtime is much more important. And there are a lot more opportunities and good things that can happen with downtime. So it's pretty important. I actually have mandatory downtime for some of my games because my players the game world always has something urgent that needs to get done. And if I didn't make them take downtime, they would just want to go to the next adventure. But they actually want to do downtime because they want to do some of these things, but they feel like I won't let them get away with it. They feel like if they take a break to do downtime, I'm going to somehow punish them with this plot advancing over here. And so they're like, we can't take downtime. We can't stop. We have to go take care of Lord Paxton's latest problem. And so I make them take downtime as a way to give them the opportunity to do it because they want to. It's just that I think they feel like if they do it, something bad's going to happen. And so I make them do it. And bad stuff happens anyway. Surprise! Rainfire, hello, how are you? My day is going fairly well. I had a pretty good day at work. Today was a cool day at work. It was a good day at work. Some good conversations with some good people. And then I came home to live stream. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Eric Clark says, I could totally do it myself, but I thought I'd ask you. If I sent you a Demogorgon miniature to paint, how much would you charge me to do it? I don't know, $200. There you go. I'm just throwing out a number to discourage you from wanting me to do it. $200 and I'll paint it for you. I'm going through my mind is okay, how long would it take me to paint this? And how much is my time worth? All considerations. I'm going through my mind. But $200 I'll paint it for you. And you can probably do it better yourself. And there are probably people at your local game shop that will paint it for about $20 and do a better job than me because they're better than me and they don't charge as much, So I'm doing my best to dissuade you from sending me your Demogorgon. There are other people that will do it for cheaper and do a better job than I will. Trust me. Okay. But if you gotta have one painted by me, then there you go. Jeff Buffington is pick a number between 50 and 500. That's basically what I was doing. What's a big enough number that he'll say, no, I'm not doing that? That's actually for my Patreon tier where people can play D&D with me. That's actually part of my thought process was I need to pick a number where no one will really want to pay that much to play D&D with me. And I was like, all right, $100 a month. And then people actually are paying it. And then I'm like, I should have made it higher. It's the weird logic that goes through my mind for some things, It's a life-size Demogorgon mini? Oh, no. Not for $200. Then it's going to be $2,000 if it's life-sized. Man, totally. All right. Tucker Brady says, I have a PC group that is almost impossible to get to care about NPC in the story suggestions. Well, what are they doing, Tucker Brady? If they don't care about the NPCs in the story, what are they doing in the game world? Are they just dinking around or something? Wandering around, blowing crap up or something? I mean, this is a hard one for me because I don't know that I ever really have players who don't care about the story and don't go on the stuff. I think the trick is better plot hooks, possibly. Better think about how to motivate them, how to motivate their characters to do something. Tempt them with things. Maybe you have to offer them gold, rewards and stuff. Maybe if they're interacting with other parts of the game world, you see what they do care about, and then you compromise those things. If they like a particular NPC and they get along well with this NPC, then maybe you have to do something like underhanded, like have that NPC get captured or something to persuade the adventurers, the players, to actually go on and do a thing. But basically, you need to find what motivates your players and motivates their characters if they're like really into role playing, and then you got to tug on those strings to try to get them to go do things. Like for instance, I was running a game, and all I needed to do to motivate my players to go do a thing was present like a problem in the game, and there are some, a problem in the game, and my players would like, okay, we're going to go solve this because it's the right thing to do, and they'd march off and do it. And then we all TPK'd, and they came back with new characters. And then I presented this thing in the game that the right thing to do was to go do this, and my players looked at me and they're like, I don't care about that. What's in it for me? Like, are you going to pay us for this? Like, where's the money? Show us the money. And I was kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Like, my players all came back as mercenaries. And then I had to change my tactics for how I motivated them and motivated their characters. And I had to start basically treating them like mercenaries to get them to go on adventures. So I think you got to try different things, I think, is the trick to that. What is he doing? Yeah, don't spam your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you spam your questions, then a moderator is going to time you out and then delete your questions. So don't spam your questions. One of my moderators is like, hammer! Gah, gah, gah! That's freaking sweet. All right. Woo. Check out my cat, Ben. What is a homebrew rule that you think is important to games that you run? Mine is, I am not running 2 games on one table. Yes, I have that. I can sign that one right there, buddy. That's definitely important. I'm not going to run 2 games. It's a group game. Stay together. Go on one adventure together. Here is my overarching rule. My overarching rule that all of my groups have to abide by. As a player, my expectations of you are that you contribute positively to the game environment. Now, that is extremely vague and applies to almost all situations and stuff, but are you contributing positively to the game environment? Or are you causing problems? Are you arguing with people? Are you making players feel bad? Are you, so that's just like an overarching thing. Do you contribute positively to the game environment? Is the game, are all of the players, is the group better off by your presence? Is the net total sum of fun increased because you were at the game? That concept right there. And if you have somebody that brings the group down and decreases that net fun and just takes out of the bank, then that's a problem. Right? I've had players like that, and I'll tell you what, when players that just take from that fun bank and don't give to it are at the game table, the whole game table suffers. And the best possible thing is for that player not to be there. Okay? So there's a rule for you, man. Yammy Gallant says, do you have any ideas on how to cause a gender change in a character that isn't just poof it happened or the cliched cursed magical items? Nope, because that's how it happens. How else are you going to do it? It's a curse or it's magic. There's no other way to bring about that change, buddy. That's the way it happens in D&D. I don't think there's any other way. So if you want to source fund or crowd fund ideas for that, Facebook or Reddit will probably get you some ideas. I don't have any. Sorry. I just disappointed you. I'm not that smart. Cooper Johnson says, I'm scared for my soon-to-be D&D campaign, and I was wondering if you had any advice. If I knew what you were scared about and what your concerns were, I could probably address them. but your question needs to be specified a little bit before I can do that. We got more questions coming in. Now the questions are starting to pile up. Did we get more people in the stream? No, it's about the same amount. Just more questions are coming in. Oh, don't forget to plug the Discord channel. Okay, all right, Nithris. We're gonna plug the Discord channel. Moderators, could one of you drop a link, an invite link to our Discord channel? So basically, our Discord channel it's a group of, we call it Dungeon Masters, but I think there's lots of people there that aren't Dungeon Masters as well. Possibly lots of people who are considering becoming Dungeon Masters. But the whole idea is that we help each other out, we give each other advice, we hang out. It's a big Dungeon Master family and stuff like that. So there's a link to my Discord down in the description of this video, so you can always get it down there as well. All right, now, boom. I'm reading the chat now. Zugidmoy. Ooh, Zugidmoy. That's pretty cool. I like Zugidmoy. That's fun stuff. Okay, history Chi TB. How much do you allow players to create magic items or do other enchanting? As part of their downtime, they can do that stuff. And I just follow the downtime rules that are, I think, in Xanathars for that. And so I allow it, but you got to follow the rules for it. And I'm pretty sure enchanting magic items, make your own magic items, takes a long time and is pretty complex. I have not yet to have a player do it. You know, you would probably, yeah. It's not something that happens in my game tables. And in all honesty, like, I kind of like to have a little bit of control over the magic items that go into the game, because I have players who will do things like handpick the perfect, like, storm of magic items that make their players, like, invincible and stuff, and that might cause problems here and there. Like the Cloak of Displacement, for instance, which, by the way, Dalinor, will never, ever, ever be allowed in any of my games ever again. So, just so you know there, buddy. Dalinor has ruined the Cloak of Displacement for all of my players ever again in the future. It's a super powerful magic item, like crazy powerful. Do I have any tips on role-playing a druid? I don't think so. I'm a dungeon master. I don't really roleplay character group classes a lot, but think nature, think woodland. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot for you, the Lord Miss. Sorry. I'm kind of empty there. That's like a player-centric question, and I'm not a player a whole lot. I don't think I've ever played. Have I ever played a druid? Maybe once in a game with my daughter. I think, maybe. Sky Epic Gamer, thanks for subscribing, buddy. Appreciate that. Okay, Galen. We'll see you next time, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Nithrius, that's exactly what it is. It's a paladin with a Cloak of Displacement. And it's not just a paladin with a Cloak of Displacement. It's a paladin sorcerer with a Cloak of Displacement and the shield spell. You try hitting that guy in combat. It's not happening. Eric Clark says, aside from D&D, what other passions or hobbies do you have? See how I got to think about it? Martial arts. I like doing martial arts. I really, really like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That is so much fun. So I like doing that. That's like a hobby I have. I have a class tomorrow. So yeah, that'll be fun. And what else do I do? Yeah, that's my life, man. That's pretty much my life. I work. I make videos. I play D&D. I do martial arts stuff. I mean, I go to the gym and I like to do cardio, like running and crap like that. I used to really be into weightlifting, but like I'm getting old and my shoulder now. So like, you know, my list of injuries, my shoulder's messed up. So I can't do a whole lot with that anymore. Like I can't do much at all. My knee's messed up. My back sometimes hurts me. I mean, it's like the laundry list of like old people problems that I'm just starting to have. And I'm not that old, but I've been doing heavy weightlifting for much of my life. And that crap takes a toll on your body. And now I'm just like, can't do that anymore. So I go to the gym and I just do cardio. I'm the guy that just does cardio now. I used to be the guy that would like go lift weights like, oh yeah, baby. And I'd be like, look at the people just doing cardio and I'd be like, loser. But now I'm the guy that just does cardio because like I got injuries, you know, but I used to love, that was a big part of my life, but not anymore. So that's sad. It's really sad. But that's life. Things change. Now I'm looking at the chat. Yeah. How to D&D? That is so true. Martial arts and weights can cause a few injuries. Yes. Have I ever been injured in martial arts? I don't think so. Not really. You get punched or hit and stuff like that. See, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, you don't usually get hurt doing that stuff. You know, unless you're rolling with somebody who's like careless or wants to hurt you. You know what I mean? But yeah. And I don't do like for the martial arts stuff, like the taekwondo and crap like that. I don't do the competitions and stuff. That stuff's crazy. You will get hurt. You will get hurt doing that stuff. Everybody's trying to head kick each other. You see the knockouts? Go Google or do a YouTube search on like taekwondo knockouts or taekwondo tournaments. And it's just kids, people just basically looking to do roundhouse kicks to the head. You know, that stuff's crazy. You're going to get hurt doing that. You can't punch to the face, but you can roundhouse kick to the face. Holy crap, are you kidding me? It's nuts. Willin X, he says, speaking of downtime, did you watch Colville's latest video on it? If so, what are your thoughts? I saw the video, I didn't click it. I will eventually. I watched most of his stuff. I just haven't done it yet. But I saw that it came out. I have no thoughts currently. Until I watch it. Noah Beach. One of my players wants to sacrifice themselves into a ring of domination, mind controlling the wearer. Okay. Should I allow this, and how do I determine who picks it up and puts it on? I don't know. I can't tell you whether you should allow it or not. Okay? They're sacrificing their own character to do this ring and then mind control the person who picks it up. That sounds kind of cool. That sounds kind of fun. I think that something really cool could happen from that. So I would be inclined to figure out a way to experiment with that, to be honest with you, because that sounds really interesting. Bewitched Gamer, thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. Would you ever look at someone's homebrew? Would I ever? Yeah, possibly, maybe. I don't know what you're asking. If you want me to actually look at some homebrew rules of yours and review them or something like that, then because of the time involved in doing something like that, I would recommend that there is a tier on my Patreon page for like consultations, and one of the things that I offer as part of that tier is I will look at something that you have created and review it and give you some critiques on it. So if you're personally interested in that sort of thing, then I would encourage you to check that out. Yeah. If you want general critiques on homebrews, then what I do recommend you do, that won't cost you anything, is go over to my Discord server. There's a link down in the description, and there's literally I think there's a homebrew area. Stand by, let me look at it. Yes, there is a part of my Discord called Review My DM Creation. You can post whatever you created over there and get the community to give you feedback. Okay, so that might be a better option, to get different people to give you feedback on it. Eric Clark. Now that's a nice sale. Good job spinning that question. I mean, I'm being honest. I'm literally being honest because I am crazy busy. Okay, so like I have to be very selective about the activities that I engage in. You know what I mean? I get tons of emails of people asking questions. I get tons of stuff all the time, and I have to be selective about the things that I spend my time doing. You know, I can't. Reviewing a homebrew is something that takes some time. If you actually want me to like spend time reviewing it and giving you good feedback, that takes my time. That's time that I could be using for a multitude of other things. And so I have to be a good steward of my own time. You know what I mean? And so I'm just giving an honest answer. It's what I'm doing, you know? So it wasn't so much as a spin as an honest answer, in my opinion. So. Laverans. Will there be an adventure creation? And if so, yes, there will be. It's probably going to start in about 10 minutes because it's almost 8 o'clock. And we're probably going to get into our adventure pretty soon. Mr. Pages. Yeah, I've seen his schedule. It's nuts. Mr. Pages, wait a second. I was sharing my schedule with some people. I'm not sure if you were in that group. You might have seen it after the fact. But yeah, my schedule is crazy. Like I work all day, I get home, and then I work on videos or something else, or I publish adventures. It's nuts. Like, you guys, literally, my wife the other day was kind of complaining because she has to like get time on my calendar almost. Okay, like if she wants to go do something, it's great. I want to do it. But I have to consult my calendar and see what all is going on. And then I have to block off time to go to the movies or something. I literally have time blocked off on my calendar to go out to eat with her, like every weekend, and go spend time doing something like a date type of thing. Literally blocking off time for those activities. Because if I don't, there's always more work to be done. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating like the fact of the matter, you know. Eric Clark, and that's why I don't have a channel. You know, there is so much truth in that, dude. Like, seriously, it looks like it's all just shiny roses. It's awesome. Oh, he's got a YouTube channel. He makes videos, and like, it's sweet, and like, people know who he is, and all this stuff. But like, what goes on, and this is not a complaint. It's not me like complaining about how I have it bad or anything. Not at all. I am incredibly blessed with the life I have and very, very grateful. Total gratitude. But the fact of the matter is that I work all the time and I work my butt off to achieve certain things. It's all about work and putting in work. You know what I mean? And that's not a complaint. It's just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And so if you want to achieve certain things in life and do certain things, it takes an amount of commitment and work, and you got to work your butt off. Nobody's going to give it to you. It doesn't just happen, you know. Any like overnight success story or anything that you hear about, whatever, there's no such thing, okay? Usually there's years of work behind the scenes that nobody ever notices, and then finally it starts to come to fruition, and then you start to see results for all of your hard work, you know. So Anyway. You're literally playing MC. What's MC, Marcus? What is MC? I don't know what that is. What's playing MC mean? My cat. Where's my cat? None of my... Like, you guys, this is my cat cam. There's no cats here tonight. Like, there was at the beginning of the stream. Squeaky was hanging out there. Minecraft. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Cool. All right, let's look at some more questions here. Gabriel Justice says, what do you think about more gritty mods for D&D, like 5 Torches Deep? Hold on a second. Somebody did a video about 5 Torches Deep. Was that Dungeon Craft? Yes, it was. I watched that video. I watched his video about 5 Torches Deep. And he was talking about how it was a more gritty, realistic game or something. I think that was him. I think it might be fun. I mean, I watched this video and I was like, that sounds cool. That sounds like it's worth checking out. So I don't think... whatever opinion I have is a positive one, and it's probably worth trying, is what I would say. My camera's out of focus. This is annoying. Come on. Get in focus. Sometimes, like, giving it, like, eyes and teeth helps it to focus. But it doesn't seem to want to focus, so I'm just going to deal with it. It's like my little pet peeve when my camera's out of focus, you know. Dylan, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that, man. All right, Mason Labont. I'm gonna answer your question now, Mason. I was intentionally not answering your question because you were spamming the chat. Just letting you know. But now that you've sat in timeout for a while, I'm gonna answer your question. See how big of a jerk I am? I'm like a mean bully. Just don't spam the chat, dude. He says, how do you a D&D campaign when you're a child? How do you do a D&D campaign when you're a child? I think you do it the same way an adult would. You create an adventure, and you get some players, and you run it. I would recommend that you get one of the starter sets. Get like, what is it called? I can't even think about it. There's like 3 starter sets. People in chat, could you drop the names of the starter sets that Mason could check out? There are like 3 of them. I would pick up one of them. It's like, they're about $20 each. Bug your mom and dad for them. Okay, bug your mom and dad and say, buy me this. It's Christmas time. Buy this for me. But that's Lost Mines of Phandelver. That's not the name of the Okay, Dragon of Ice Spire Peaks. But the actual name of the starter sets, because they got to look it up on Amazon. They got to do like an Amazon search for it. Anyway, get one of the starter sets, and then that's the way to get started, man. Totally the way to get started. And then get your mom and dad to play. Or your brother or your sister or something. Yeah, it's just called the starter set. Just look up D&D starter set, and you'll be able to find it. Mr. Pages. Do you prefer weaving PC backstory into the plot of your campaign, or do you prefer PCs with backstory develops as they interact with a campaign? Are these mutually exclusive? No, they're not mutually exclusive. My preference is my players will create backstories when they create their character, and I have like a backstory creation question template that I use with them. If you go to my Session 0 video on my channel, in the description there's a download for my backlog, my backstory creation template. And I basically have them answer some questions. My preference is they answer those questions, they give me their backstory when they create their character. And then I use their backstory and I draw out pieces to include in my game that sometimes become full-blown adventures. There might be an entire adventure arc that has to do with the player's backstory, right? Something that I draw it from. Or it might just be an encounter. It might be a specific encounter that they come across that has to do with their backstory, you know. But I try to pull little bits out of their backstory and weave it into the game as I go, because I think players like that. It makes them feel like, oh, I made a backstory, and oh, look at this thing in the game specifically has to do with my character and my backstory. You know, I think that makes them feel special, and it makes them feel like they didn't waste their time in making the backstory too. Eric Clark, I have not run Tomb of Annihilation, and I don't know how it turned out because I haven't run it. I've heard it's cool, but I've heard that it's really deadly hard game as well. Casbeal says, which is your favorite god in the Forgotten Realms? I'm going to guess Joaquin because you make high-quality, greedy goblin voices. I use Torm a lot in my Sword Coast Guard campaign. I use Torm a lot because my players offended and killed a bunch of paladins of Torm. And it's like an ongoing joke we have in the game where, like... So, yeah, I use Torm a lot, but I don't think I have a favorite, necessarily. All right, we're about to go into adventure creation. Cassiopeia, Anne, I'm just going to call you Anne, says, using props at the table, yay or nay? If yay, what sort have you used? Yeah, I use props. I
I give my players like letters as handouts and stuff. I also will, like, what else do I do? I mean, I use a grid and minis. I use miniatures. I use like little furniture and stuff to go into the rooms. I use like doors to show where the doors are, like actual physical doors and stuff. They go on the grid. And so I do all that stuff. Yeah, that's fun. So Michelle says, "Hi, I'm super new to D&D, and I am the DM for my family. A 12 and 7-year-old girls and a husband." Oh, that is super cool. That's awesome. "Currently on Lost Mines of Phandelver. I'm thinking ahead to our next campaign. Do you know of any geared toward young kids?" Oh, yes. Yes. Hold on a second. I have a link for you. I actually did a shout out in one of my videos for these guys, but there is an entire website, D&D for Kids. I'm going to see if I can find their site for you. Yes, I am going to, I'm pretty sure this is the one that I plugged in a video. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you. So this website right here publishes free Dungeons & Dragons adventures for kids. Okay, now I don't know if it's a campaign. It might just be like one-off adventures, but I would start here. Now, as far as like entire campaigns that are put together just for kids, I don't know about that. But I would start here, and that might be a good place to start. But I do want to say that it's super awesome that you're running D&D for your daughters and your husband. That's really cool. When I started running 5th edition originally, like when I started DMing 5th edition, I started it with my daughter. I think she was about 12 years old at the time. And she ran 2 characters, I ran 2 characters, and I was also the dungeon master. Okay, and we did that for like a year and had tons of fun. I have photos and really good memories of my daughter and I playing D&D together. So it's just amazing, really cool stuff. DM Smiley says, Tomb of Annihilation is a meat grinder. That's what I've heard, dude. I've heard that. All right, where am I? Question. That's not where I wanted. I just opened up Excel. Excel is not, I was trying to go to my Google Docs. Okay, I think we got one more question. And then we're going to go into adventure creation. See if we can find a good one. Nope. Nope to that. I answered that. Okay, we're gonna do Eric Clark. Have you ever had a party in one of your campaigns hit level 20? Yes. What were they called? Hand of Light, but they became something else. Manus Invictus. My Manus Invictus group hit level 20. And when we hit level 20, then we started a new campaign. We were running Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which we almost finished, but not quite, before I had to stop DMing because I ran out of time. I didn't have any time in my calendar to keep DMing for them. Anyway, that wasn't your question. Your question is, have you ever considered creating monsters, spells, adventures that go beyond that? No. I haven't. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think I enjoy high-level play that much. I think that, mid-level play, say between levels 5 to 15 or so, are lots of fun. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens in those levels. The higher level play, I don't know. I don't think I had as much fun with it. Now, I've only really done that. I think we've done that once. I think I've had one campaign ever, that was a Manus Invictus campaign, get to level 20. And it was cool to do, because how many campaigns get to level 20? But I don't think I don't think that I would want to constantly run a high level game at 20. I think I would want to get to 20 because it's cool to get there, because nobody ever gets there. But then I would want to, once we get to 20, restart at 1 or 3 or something, or whatever you want to do. Because I think that just seems a little bit more fun to me, Now, what are the players like? I don't know. Maybe my players had tons of fun at level 20. But it was more challenging for me as a dungeon master to run that game. I will say that. So, yes, DM Smiley, it was unfortunate that I had to quit DMing for them because it was a great group, and one of the players took over as dungeon mastering, and they still get together, and every so often I get to go play in that game, but not nearly as much as I would rather do, And it sucks that we had to stop before we even finished Dragon Heist. But like, I literally looked at my schedule and I was like, you guys, like, I'm not gonna be able to dungeon master for you for like another month or a month and a half or something. And then there's another period of time that I can't do it. I was just looking at my calendar. I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't. How many, like, running 4 Dungeons and Dragons games? Oh, and then I got a Patreon game, like, and then what is it? Oh, I have a game at work I run too. So I was like running all of these games, and then I'm like making videos and doing all this YouTube stuff, and it's like I can't do all of this. Like, I have to cut something. Something has to go. And it was a tough decision, but yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are doing right now. We are going to take a short break. I will put up a little intermission screen, and we are going to transition into adventure creation. What we're going to be doing is, I didn't even open it. Hold on a second. Let's open this up. We have an adventure that we began creating together called Fishy Business. I'm going to open it up for you and show you, give you a little tease of it, and then we're going to start working on it. Stand by. Open that up. So I have a very, very, very beautiful map that I drew. This took me a long time, painstaking effort to draw this map out. No, not really. This is my map, and we're just we're creating an adventure based on this. Now, the adventure itself looks a whole lot better than my map. Okay, like the adventure itself actually kind of resembles something quasi decent looking with read aloud text and adventure, like encounters and stuff. But we're basically, where are we at? Where do we leave off? We left off at, I think we left off at the shaman quarters, K9. So we have done all of this area. We did this area last time. We did this area, and we did this area right here. All we have left to do is this crystal chamber, K10, and then K11 is the throne room, and then we have a treasure vault to make. That'll be fun. And then we have the leader quarters right here. So we don't have a lot left to do in this adventure, and this adventure is done. And by the way, you guys, all of my adventures that we create on the stream, any sort of collaborative creation stuff that we do on the stream, like, I make these things available for you guys to download and use in your own games and stuff as well. Okay, so when we get done with this, all of this is, I think there's a link down below to download a work in progress right now. But everything we've published and available for folks to get for free when we're done with this. Okay, so you can look forward to that. Get all excited about that. So without further ado, I am going to throw up an intermission screen. I am going to go take a bathroom break or something, and then when we get back, we're doing adventure creation together. Yes, I did this all on screen, like hardcore, dude. Like, this all got done on the stream. We created all of this together on the stream. Okay? All of this happened on the stream. And this is how I create my adventures. Lots of words, lots of detail. We're at 10 pages right now. It's really cool. Okay? So yeah. All happened on the stream. All right, I'm going to throw some music on, and we're going to take a short intermission. And then when we come back, we're going to create some adventures together, a D&D adventure together.
Kill the music. All right, rock and roll. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do some adventure creation together. So this is like, let's all go to the lobby. The lobby? Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a snack. Yeah, I should have gotten a snack. I'm actually not really hungry right now. I had a couple sandwiches before starting the stream, and so that kind of held me off. But, okay, you're ordering Papa John's? Oh, F. Huber. That's not cool, man. That music was messing with your head? What was the music playing, Jeff? Oh no, but see, Mr. Butt likes the music. So, Mr. Butt, I call Philip Ketchup. I call him Philip Ketchup, or I just call him Ketchup. Like, so Ketchup has been coming around to my streams for quite some time now. And quite some time ago, he and I had a discussion, and we kind of hammered out the agreement that I can call him Ketchup on my streams. And I think we're kind of like hammering out the agreement right now, Mr. Butt, that I'm going to call you Mr. Butt on the streams. So get that all clear. All right, so we're creating an adventure together, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to be a little bit more chill and relaxed here as we create this adventure. Let's make sure you guys can see this thing right here. Yes, I said Ketchup. The music was good. You like the music, Mr. DM Smiley? Awesome. That's cool. Those are cookie, a cake, another cake, some lollipops and stuff. What about pizza? Mr. Butt, where's the pizza? All right. Where do we leave off? So we have this crystal chamber right here. This large area right here is our crystal chamber. And we need to work on this area. So to give everybody context, first of all, hold on a second. Some folks have not been with us from the beginning creating this. And so I need to give some context to this adventure. Stand by. I am changing my ticker text on the stream. So give me a second. The first thing that you need to know to have proper context is this is a level 1 to 4 adventure. Level 1 to 4. So, there are no Balors or Balrogs or dragons in this adventure, okay? And that's a good segue into what is in this adventure. We have Kuo-toa in this adventure. This adventure, so far, if we go to the creatures, we have some Kuo-toa in the adventure. This is basically a Kuo-toa compound. Okay, and so there are creatures here that are related to them. We have a shark reef, a reef shark. I think we have a sea spawn that we used, and there are some merfolk, a giant crab. Do we have a giant frog in here? No, I think the goblins were riding giant frogs, but that was like an encounter on the way to the adventure. We don't actually have any of these fire newt warriors at all in this adventure yet. I think that was something that we brainstormed but never actually implemented. I got like the hiccups now. I have the hiccups. I'm gonna be sitting here the whole rest of the stream just. It's gonna be great. Sometimes if you like aboleth, yes, there is an aboleth. Sometimes if you hold your breath, it gets rid of hiccups. Like if you just like. And then just like hold it for a second or two. Because your diaphragm is screwed up with hiccups. So I think sometimes just like taking deep breaths and holding it, will sometimes fix it. But anyway. Yeah, we did put giant crabs in there. Ninja theory. So basically there is an aboleth. We have like locations and we have NPCs. Zorchid the Binder is an aboleth that dwells underneath this mountain, and the Kuo-toa worship this aboleth. And the central tension, the plot, is that the Kuo-toa are stealing fish from a lake and sacrificing the fish to the aboleth. And there's an Arakakra village nearby that, depends on this fish supply for their food source.
And so the players are trying to investigate, what's causing all the food to disappear, basically. And that leads them to a bunch of Kuo-toa. Now, the aboleth doesn't actually appear in the adventure because it's a level 1 to 4 adventure. But that's kind of like what's going on behind the scenes, okay? So that should be enough of a big recap of what's going on to kind of get us all on the same page, I think. We didn't do any random encounters yet. We are on 10, these crystal chambers. So, this is the holy place of the adventure, and what we need to do now is we need to brainstorm what's going to be in this room. Now, let's put some context here. It's not going to be just anything, okay? We want the Kuo-toa shaman to be in this room. So, what was it? The Archpriest. Is it the Archpriest? Yeah, I think the Archpriest or the Whip. No, the Archpriest. We can have the Kuo-toa Archpriest be in this room. And so we want to kind of like brainstorm. That could be hard too. It's a CR6. We want to brainstorm what's going to be in this room and what the room looks like as well. We have some ideas. It's a crystal chamber. It's supposed to be a shrine room to their aboleth deity. And we had an idea of like some gems of different colors, sounds that are amplified by volcanic glass, but I don't know. This was from before, but what do you guys think? What could we put in here? Just some ideas. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna pull up some of our books that we're gonna be using. Like we're gonna need the monster manual and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get all of these documents opened up for us. Rulebooks, monster manual. All right, let's get this guy over here. Okay, so there's our monster manual, and I might as well open up like Volos and stuff because we probably will pull some stuff from there at some point. Oh my gosh. Come on, man. You're killing me. You're killing me. We might use Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Let's pull that up. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get this done around here. All right, cool. Can the shaman shoot lasers that refract through the crystals? A la Toy Story 2. Wow. What if there was crystals all across the room which hypnotize the adventurers as they fight and eventually take full control of the bodies? Wow, that would be crazy. The altar that they use for sacrifices could be in the crystal chamber. The Archpriest could be praying when the party enters. Yeah. A book of different rituals and spells. A table with dead fish on it. Oh, that's cool. The crabs are banned in Russia? Really? In the Door Monster cinematic universe? Okay. Ooh, an altar and several worshippers and some guards and prisoners ready for sacrifice. That's interesting. There could be a sacrifice going on in the middle of this right here. Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. So we could have some sort of ritual in progress and a sacrifice going on. Okay, so what kind of we have Kuo-toa? I mean, it makes sense to have maybe Kuo-toa. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? I want this right here. If we have, so we're doing 4 characters. They're level 1, and so we could have some Kuo-toa sacrificing some people. Okay, so that could be a thing. I like that idea. I like the idea of there being a sacrifice going on. That's cool. Okay. Luke needs to get sponsored by D&D Beyond. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. I mean, if I'm not gonna, I can't. I actually recently looked into getting D&D Beyond, and to get all the books that I would need, it was something like $300, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. That's crazy. You know, it's a great service. I don't have. I'm not gonna pay $300. Mostly I would use it for, like, what do you want to call it? Creating characters. And I'm just like, I just can't pay that kind of money. You know. It'd be cool if I could, though. Or if they just give it to me free and I'll just
plug their crap all day long. Yes, Mr. Butt, that's a great idea. The merfolk could be being sacrificed. Yes, that's a great idea. I like that. Ah, the voice amplification crystals are being used by the hiding archpriest to provide the illusion their god is responding to the sacrifice. Yes. That's a great idea, dude. I like that. I think the shaman, the shaman needs to be hidden or something. I think, Huber, I think you're onto something. I think that we need to have really a two-stage battle. I think the first part of this battle is just going to be like basic Kuo-toa that are sacrificing the merfolk, and then the second stage of the battle is like the archpriest, the shaman, actually comes out. Okay, yes, Cthulhu, that's true. We could just have the aboleth speaking through the crystals. That's totally true. All right, so let's start writing some stuff down. We got lots of good ideas, but we don't have any of it written down, which is usually not going to work super well. All right, so what does this place look like? So let's do a description of this place. So we have, this is a massive chamber. This massive, what do these crystals look like? This massive chamber, we'll say the ceiling of this massive chamber is covered by an array of multicolored, sparkling crystals of various sizes. Okay, awesome. And there's an altar. What is the floor? I think the floor of this floor is going to be like maybe ankle deep water. And ankle deep water covers the floor. Across the way, what does the altar look like? You guys, what does the altar look like? We need to have like a really cool looking altar. What could this thing look like? Because the altar that they're sacrificing the merfolk on. Okay. Oh, guts and dead guts. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. But what does the altar look like? I want a really cool looking altar that they can be sacrificing the merfolk on. Something that ties in with the Kuo-toa, ties in with the aboleth, ties in with the environment or something. Something really, really cool. Give me some ideas for that. And then we're gonna figure out a cool altar. We got an altar, something like that. And ankle deep water and what looks to be the remains of corpses cover the floor. So there's corpses, ankle deep water and corpses. That's crazy. All right, altar. Tridents, Game of Thrones style, a huge shark mouth. Ooh, that's a cool idea. The altar is engraved with intricate lore, a stone aboleth holding up the sacrifice, part of an old shipwreck, giant clamshell, 4 turtles supporting an aboleth. That's cool. An altar the shape of their god, mineralized corpses, a black altar with 2 spinning aboleths that chase each other on the top of it. Oh, that's cool. You know, I like the idea of a black obsidian. Okay, yeah. Across the way is a smooth black obsidian. Is obsidian always black? Isn't obsidian always black? I think that's redundant to say black obsidian, because I think obsidian's always black, isn't it? Is a smooth obsidian altar in the form of some monstrous creature. Now, here's the thing. We're not gonna say that the altar is in the form of an aboleth, right? Because the players might not know that that's what an aboleth looks like. What we're gonna do is we're gonna say altar, and then we're gonna say
it's in the form of an aboleth. And then we'll say a successful DC, we'll say 14 intelligence, arcana, or history check. Actually, I think religion, his arcana, religion, or history, because why religion? Because aboleths used to be the deities before the current pantheon came and displaced them. So people who are familiar with religion would also know the history of the aboleth. Reveals this. Boom. There we go. That's how we do that. So across the way is a smooth obsidian altar in the form of some monstrous creature. Atop, and then we'll say, okay, that's good. And then atop the altar is a merfolk. And standing about are several you know what we're going to do? I'm not going to include that in the read aloud text. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say occupants. Occupants. Several Kuatoa. A lot of times, so here's the thing. A lot of times in my read aloud text, I don't like to include a description of the creatures and stuff. I like to leave that out of the read aloud text, and I instead put it into a little bit of text called occupants. And then I just describe the occupants of the room and what they're doing. Personal preference, but that's how I like to do it. Several Kuatoa are in the midst of a ritual. Is it a ritual? Yeah, in the midst of a ritual. In the midst of performing ceremonial sacrifices. Ceremonial sacrifices of several merfolk that are tied up in the room. Okay, cool. So they are sacrificing them on the altar. All right, that's the basic idea of what's going on in this room. Okay, now I'm going to read some of your chat to see if you got some other ideas here. The reason I set that DC kind of low is this is a level 1 to 4 adventure. And I don't think there's any harm in them recognizing that altar is in the form of an aboleth. I think that actually is kind of cool that they know it. Arthur, what's going on, dude? Welcome to the stream, man. So I kind of want to make it so they can actually succeed at it. Religion. Obsidian can be dark blue or purple. Really? Okay. So it's not actually black. And obsidian can be lots of dark purple. Oh, it's sometimes purple. Interesting. Okay, well then I guess it does make sense to specify it. Is a smooth, dark purple obsidian altar in the form of some monstrous creature. Okay, awesome. My cursor is gone. My mouse pointer. There we go. That's better. How do you restrain a merfolk? You can tie their hands, but their tails are very powerful. Chop their tails off? I don't know, man. That's a good question. That's a good point, too. Oh, weird feel to the room. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Sheeper the Casual. Appreciate that. And Chaos. Thanks, man. Let's see. What kind of weird feel to the room? Like, what would be the ambiance of the room? Some sort of, describe the feeling. What would be the feeling of this room? Nail the tail. Oh, that's nasty, Nest. I don't think you guys can hear this, but one of my cats is snoring over there. Like way off camera, but he's like snoring, and I can hear him snoring. A hold monster spell in the merfolk? Yeah, that's totally possible. Weigh the tail down, just put a bunch of rocks on them. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so we have sparkling crystals. We have Kuatoa. So now I think now we need to figure out like how many Kuo-toa are in here. What is this? Oh yeah, this is the shaman. So this is some information about the shaman. We have the shrine. We have that. Oh yes, that's what. So we have. Okay, here we go. Here's a feeling to the room. So sounds in this chamber seem to be amplified by the strange crystals in the ceiling. There we go. All right, and they're performing a ritual over there. Huh, the smell of rotting flesh. Oh, yes, that's a good idea. Sounds in this chamber seem to be amplified, and the smell of rotting flesh fills the area. Awesome. Ooh, squirty pie. Squirty pie. Squirty pie. This is my cat, Squirty Pie. Squirty Pie. Oh, here's Orange. Here's Orange. Orange. He's suspicious, like something's going on. All right, Nithrus, see you later. Thanks for joining us, man. Supper's ready. Oh, that sounds good. He's walking away. He's like, this is weird. I don't know what he's doing. Had to go to the cat cam for a second. Looking at the cat cam. That's interesting. Thunder and sonic damage. That's a great idea, Arthur. That's a great idea. So let's do this. Let's do a thing on crystals. Crystals. The crystals in the ceiling make even a whisper audible from across the entire chamber. Furthermore, thunder, is it thunder spells? Sonic, I think it's thunder. The source thunder damage is doubled in this room. Yeah, thunder damage is doubled. Any thunder damage is doubled from this amplification. There we go. That's a pretty cool idea. I like that. Yeah, thunder. Sonic is from 3.5 or Pathfinder, I believe, is where they had sonic damage. But in 5th edition, we use thunder. Yeah. Cool. No, Bewitched Gamer, you're totally right. We're not going to give them that information, right? And that information that thunder damage is doubled is not in like the read aloud text, and I'm not going to tell my players that. I have a note here that it's doubled. So if they use thunder damage, I'll apply it double to the monsters, and I will probably give them some sort of flavor text where I'll say, your thunder wave goes off, and I'll describe the damage, and I'll be like, that thunder wave, you've used your thunder wave a lot, but in this particular room, the sound, the booming sound is even louder, and you can tell that this group of enemies like really got battered from it really badly. Okay, and so I will use like description to key my players in on the fact that it did more damage, but only after they actually cast it or try it. I'm not just going to give them that information. That wouldn't make sense to do that. But you're totally right. They wouldn't know that out of the gate, for sure. Oh yes, Vincent, good idea. What is the light situation? I think that's probably a good idea. Multicolored sparkling crystals of various sizes. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Crystals. These crystals also, what kind of light, what color, multicolored light? So let's just do this. The ceiling of this massive chamber is covered by an array of multicolored sparkling crystals of various sizes that give off a
rainbow like hue that saturate, come on, spell saturate, saturate the room with a rainbow-like glow. There we go. How's that? Sweet. Cool. Yeah, they're multicolored crystals. Cthulhu, I still want the Archpriest to shoot lasers that refract through the crystals. All right, man. We're going to make a note. Cthulhu fan wants the Archpriest to shoot lasers that refract through the crystals. All right. Duly noted. Kim, hello. How are you doing? I'm glad you got to make it. We are creating an adventure tonight. I'm almost out of coffee. If somebody could help with that, I'd appreciate it. Cthulhu, you have become canon in the adventure. Congratulations. You are immortal. Laser disco. That could be really cool. How about we do this? So we have some... let's figure out how many Kuo-toa are going to be in here, because they're probably going to get into a battle with them. So we should have a pretty good idea of how many are in the room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. We're going to reuse this little thing here. Now, for folks who haven't been in one of my adventure creation live streams before, when I create adventures, I create them so that they can be played with like a 4 different levels of parties. So if your party is level 1, 2, 3, or 4, you can run this adventure. And so what that means is we're going to calculate all of our encounters for all 4 of those levels. All right, so let's clear this right here. Get rid of that. Now, we really just have Kuo-toa, but I think what we want to do is have a Kuo-toa whip possibly as well in this adventure. So, in this encounter, I should say. Now, at level 1, we're probably not going to have a Kuo-toa whip. So, let's go to our thingy bobber here. So Kuo-toas are a CR 1/4, and the whip is a CR 1. So let's go into our little cool little thingy bobber. Thingy bobber. I have really technical language today, like very, very technical. There we go. So at level 1, 1 Kuo-toa is trivial. How about 3 Kuo-toa? That's hard. I think that's okay. Let's do 3 Kuo-toa, which is hard. 300 and 150. Let's go over here. And that's going to be hard. And it's just 3 Kuo-toa. There is not a Kuo-toa whip at level 1, because a Kuo-toa whip at level 1 I think would be really hard. And so we're not going to have one of those guys right there. I need more coffee. Oh, that's interesting. How could we do that? Let's even if so, Huber, even if you had Kuo-toa commoners filling up that space at the low levels, that will still be very, very hard because of action economy. Even if we deploy commoners at them, if there are 5 commoners, that could still be a problem because action economy. And they're at low levels, that's going to be much more challenging. If this were like a level 5 or higher adventure, then throwing a bunch of CR 0 commoners wouldn't be a big concern. But action economy is going to be the killer for a level 1 party. I mean, it's a good idea, but, you know. All right.
there we go. And then how about level 2? Character level 2. That becomes easy. Now I might be able to get a whip in there. There we go. Now I have a whip. 700 and 350. So at level 2, I can put a whip in there, and it's not a problem. Yes. Please forever. The Kuo-toa are sacrificing... They've been sacrificing fish to their god, the aboleth. But right now, they are sacrificing merfolk in this room to their aboleth. They're doing both. They're sacrificing both merfolk and fish as well to the aboleth. They're doing kind of both. I'm out of coffee. I'm just totally out of coffee. It's just gone. It's totally gone. The purpose of this room, it's the holy place. It's where sacrifices are happening. They could skip it if they wanted to, but they probably wouldn't be solving the problem. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Level 3. All right, we got to up it. We got to put another Kuo-toa in there. I want this to be a hard encounter. So 5 Kuo-toa and 1 whip. 5 Kuo-toa, 1 whip, and we had 900 and 450. And then, now I think at this point when we go to level 4, we're not going to just keep making more Kuo-toa. I'm going to add another whip. There we go. Now I have 2 whips. Whip it. Whip it. Whip it good. Isn't there like a song or something about whipping it? Whip, whip. I'm going to whip. What was it? Nay, nay. Something about nay, nay and whip, whip or something. I don't know. I don't know how that went. Yes, the merfolk worship a tuna. Yeah, we did do that. We did put that into the adventure last time. Where are the merfolk? Literally the merfolk, the cells. We have them worshiping a tuna. Here we go. Check this out, you guys. These merfolk, one of the merfolk is a high priest of their deity, Charlie the tuna. And the other merfolk are Charlie's faithful. Okay? We totally have them worshiping Charlie the tuna. That might be like copyright infringement or something. So I hope we don't get in trouble for that. But that's friggin' sweet. Charlie the tuna. Kuo-toa whip. Kua-nene. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I was in the middle of this. We have 5 of these. We have 2 of these. 1625, 650. So let's put this up here. 650. Hard. 5 Kuo-toa and 2 whips. Awesome. Okay, so now we have a variable level encounter. If you're level 1, 2, 3, or 4, we know exactly how many monsters to deploy against our players. Or our group or whatever. And that's what's going on in this room. And they're sacrificing the merfolk. So like if the players don't do anything, they're just going to be sacrificing the merfolk as they stand there and do nothing. A land shark. What is that, a boule? Are you talking about a boule? I think those are pretty high level, dude. I don't think, and this is like an aquatic adventure. Boule are, I believe, from the elemental plane of Earth. So that might not fit. All right, wait for it. Sometimes it continues. Hold on. There's a chance it'll continue. We could see a cat fight on the stream. Hold on a second. Well, there goes Squirty Pie. So you can see Squirty Pie. Yeah, boulets are nasty. So there was Squeaky was trying to kill Squirty Pie. That's awesome. They're just playing. They're not actually hurting each other. The thing is that Squirty Pie, that one right back there, is a big baby. and like she just cries and whines like she's being murdered, but like nothing. And there now she's licking herself. That's great. Thanks, Squirty Pie. It's all good quality content for the live stream. It's like a feature of my live streams. Every so often, there's like this random like screaming of cats who are like fighting, trying to kill each other. Orange is a big one. He's got some beef on him, but Squeaky's the biggest one by far. Squeaky's just got like, he's got tub going on, just like some tub action. Just he's got some beef on him. It's not beef. It's more like flub. All right. Anyway, we had created these guys. Now here's the thing: we have a shaman. This Kuo-toa Archpriest. I kind of want to have this Archpriest in this room somewhere, somehow, but I don't want the Archpriest to be involved in the battle at the beginning. I want them to fight, if they're gonna fight the Kuo-toa first and that whip. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Metal Pyro. Appreciate that. I want them to fight the Kuo-toa, these Kuo-toa and the Kuo-toa whip first. And then I want like the Archpriest maybe to get involved. But so the question is, how do we implement that? Like, let's brainstorm some mechanism by which the Archpriest comes into the fight later or afterwards or something. How could that work? What's a way to have that work? And then of course we have to have, the Archpriest shooting lasers out of the crystals or something. You want to talk to the Kuo-toa priest? You can talk to him. I'll let you talk to him, man. It's not a problem. Make the Archpriest give orders, and then when the PCs beat the regulars and whip, the Archpriest says, that's a possibility. You could always do that. He could be there and be observing, and they attack first. That's a possibility. Yep. Pizza arrived. Oh! I want pizza. I'm going to order pizza tomorrow. Ooh, that's interesting. He is called by the crystals. He's connected to the crystals. Ooh, that's interesting. So Cassiopeia Ann says he's connected to the crystals. He's called by the crystals. So somehow he's inside the crystals. That's interesting. Yeah, pizza takes too long. So DM Smiley's ordering pizza too? Where's my pizza? Like, I feel like I should have pizza on order or something. Souls can be kept in crystals. Yeah, Kim, I agree. That sounds pretty cool. I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea. Where is my thingy? That's pretty cool. I like that idea. Okay, so let's do. We gotta describe this out then. So, what is the name of that creature? Kuo-toa Archpriest is the name of that. So we will say, Kuo-toa Archpriest. The lead priest, or we'll say the chief, the head shaman of the Kuo-toa. He like lives in the Bewitched Gamer. You paid for a slice of pizza. Okay. When I get the pizza, I'll give you a slice. Okay. So the Kuo-toa Archpriest, the head shaman of the Kuo-toa, somehow magically dwells in the holy crystals in the ceiling of the chamber and is watching over everything. If the heroes interrupt the sacrifices and defeat the Kuo-toa in the chamber, she will exit the crystals and engage the heroes. All right, how's that? Something like that. But I don't think that she's gonna attack right away. Like, what would she do? So she's kind of watching over things, and then the heroes like attack the Kuo-toa here and defeat them, and then the Archpriest kind of like beams down out of the crystals. Whoa. Just smashed my keyboard. She'll like beam down out of the crystals and engage them or something. Oh, that's a good question. If the shaman is in the crystals, how does he have the key to the merfolk chamber on his body? Well, he has it. He has it, and when they defeat him, his corpse will lie on the ground, and they'll pick it up off his corpse. It's magic. He and all of his possessions can be in the crystals. You know what I mean? I don't see a problem with that. Maybe, so we can't, the Archpriest is already a CR6. We can't give him minions. That's way too much. Way too much. Yeah, it's magic. It's magic. Interesting. Okay. Is she just going to attack? I think she's going to... Well, no, she would attack. If the heroes come in and they interrupt the sacrifice and they kill the Kuo-toa, why wouldn't the Archpriest just attack them? Why would the Archpriest not attack them? That's the question. I think the Archpriest would just attack them. I think that's what they would do. Yeah, I did give them minions. The minions are the Kuo-toa and the Kuo-toa whip that are already there. Yeah. So basically, my only concern, this is a CR6. So if I put a CR6 here, and I have there be one of them, and I have 4 level 1 characters, look what happens. They get murdered. Because a CR6 is way too powerful for level 1 characters. So we're gonna have to like reduce her hit points or something. We're gonna let's look her up. Let's go to Monster Manual and look at the Kuo-toa. Where is the Kuo-toa? Right there. And wow! 5th level spells! Spirit Guardians. If I cast Spirit Guardians, I kill every single level 1 PC in the room. All of them dead. Some of those aren't that bad, though. Hold Person. If I upcast Hold Person at level 5, they all get held. And then they die. The multi-attack, I could kill 1 character per round, hitting them with my multi-attack. So, this Archpriest is like way too powerful for a level 1 group. Like way too powerful. We just murder them all. Yeah, we don't want to kill them all. The point is not to kill your players. It's never the point. We're gonna give the Archpriest whip stats for level 1. I agree. You'd have to do that, Cthulhu. That's a great idea. We got to do something. Level 2 down spells, you could do that. What if he admits defeat once every one of his men is dead? I think there needs to be a confrontation. I think we just need to like change his stats a little bit. Otherwise, he's just way too powerful, I think is basically what it comes down to. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so let's see. If we use this at level 4, what does it look like? It's still deadly. It's still deadly. Man, it didn't get any better. Even at level 4, it's just way too powerful. At level 3, it's just way too powerful. I don't think we can actually. We'd have to change the stats on this quite a bit. On this. Whoa, where did it go? So I mean, we'd have to like change these stats so much that you're almost asking yourself the question, why are we using this stat block? Why don't we use a different stat block? I think that's the question. I don't know what to do with this. I mean, if I were designing this adventure, I just wouldn't use this. It's just too powerful for a low level adventure, and it's too much work to rework the whole thing. Now I could on the fly adjust this and make it usable for my low level characters, but how do you write an adventure and just tell the dungeon master just change it and make it easier for your players? You know what I mean? All right, I think I'm talking ourselves into not using this stat block. It's too powerful. I'm throwing it out. Let's do this. Sahuagin Priestess. Okay, Michael, you might be onto something. Let's look at that. Let's look at the Sahuagin Priestess. Let's go look. Where's the Sahuagin? Sahuagin. See, there's more than one way. There it is. Sahuagin. A Sahuagin Priestess is a CR2. I think we found an answer. Hey moderators, can you do something about Mason, please? He's just spamming the same thing the whole stream. It's like, it's not gonna work, buddy. You can't just spam the same question the whole stream, man. It doesn't work. People don't like that. I think we're using the Sahuagin Priestess, guys. It's great. Oh, I got Guapo down here. It's like I'm all about like helping and besides what's Mason, I already answered your question, dude. I literally answered your question already in the stream. And I want to help people out and I want to answer your stuff, you know what I'm saying? But like spamming the question over and over is not like the way that's going to like achieve your end goals. It's just gonna get you like muted or something. So I'm just trying to help you out, buddy. Where were we? Sahuagin Priestess. So let's get that rocking and rolling. So where are we at? Here we go. Check this out. Ooh, nice. I gotta watch them. If they're gonna fight each other, I gotta put them on camera. I mean, it's hilarious. Now they took a break. Guapo is down here by my... Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, they're off camera. Oh, Deep Fried Butter Boy, hello. What up, dude? Good to see you again, man. My cats were just killing each other. But now we're creating adventures again. Okay, so Sahuagin Priestess. I got distracted. Sahuagin Priestess, we're going to use this. It is Monster Manual 264. So let's get this into our adventure. So we are not using that. We're actually going to use Sahuagin. I don't know how to spell this. I have no idea how to spell this. Sahuagin. 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 There we go. Hey, look at that. I must have already added this to my dictionary because Word recognized it. Monster Manual 264 CR2. What is it? 450? 450 XP? Yep, 450 XP. Bam. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to hide them. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Where were we? Okay, Sahuagin Priestess. So the Sahuagin Priestess. Where'd this go? Oh. Kuatoa Archpriest. We're actually not going to call him the Archpriest. We're going to say Kuatoa Shaman. Kuatoa, what do we call him? The Head Shaman? Head Shaman. And then we're going to say use Sahuagin Priestess. Is it Priestess? Right? Sahuagin Priestess. Yep. Use Sahuagin Priestess stat block. There we go. And now, I think what we got going on, if we use a CR2 at level 1, it's still deadly, but not nearly as deadly. And at level 2, it becomes medium. At level 3, it's easy. And at level 4, it's trivial. So now we have, it's a little bit too easy, you know. But it's better to have it be too easy than to have it be way too hard. And they just had an encounter with these Kuatoa that was pretty hard. So I think it's okay for that to be not that hard, possibly. So, yeah. This is ridiculous. All right. I think I just took care of our spammer. I think I fixed it. Sorry, guys. Some people don't want to play nice with others. What are you going to do? Okay, here we go. Dwells in the crystals, comes out of the ceiling of the chamber, and she will exit the crystal and engage the PCs. Awesome. Yeah, never feed them. Never feed them. So what are we gonna do? That's it. That's the encounter right there. That is the next encounter, and I think we just need. Well, that sucks. The table. Why did the table split across pages? I think there's a way to make that table to not break across pages. Oh, it didn't do it. I'm going to fix that. Apparently I'm not doing the right thing right there. Oh well. That's life. We're just going to have to deal with that. But we have a... I'll get rid of that row right there. Sahuagin Priestess. This is the Kuatoa Head Shaman. And at level 1, we're just punching our numbers now. At level 1, it's deadly for 450 hit points. Whoops. Deadly. And there's just one of them. And then at level 2, it's medium. It probably becomes easy. And then it becomes trivial, right? Deadly, medium, easy, trivial. And we just have the one of them. So what we will do here, though, is we'll just do like a little DM note. DM note. At levels 3 and 4, if you want to make the Kuatoa Head Shaman battle more challenging, you can increase I mean, you can always increase the hit points. You can always increase her hit points. Give her additional attacks. Legendary actions, perhaps. And similar DM tricks. Something like that. Something like that should do it. Mini shamans? Control enter. Well, that splits the page. Yeah, that'll split the page, dude. It'll give me a new page, but that doesn't. There is a way to make a table not break across pages, and I thought I knew how to do that, but apparently I don't. So I don't know. That's life. Now, somebody had an idea for shooting lasers out of the crystals. So guiding bolt. That's the spell right there. Guiding bolt is the spell. So, Cthulhu, the way we're going to help you out here with your goal, and let's do Shaman Encounter Notes. And then we'll do a bulleted list here, and we're going to say, when the Shaman casts Guiding Bolt or similar spells, the spells originate from the crystals in the ceiling and then zip down, much like lasers, to zap the PCs. There we go. What was his name? And then we're gonna say, how's that, Cthulhu fan? Are we good now? And that is gonna be in the adventure. No, it's not Q&A anymore. We did Q&A at the very beginning, but we're creating an adventure together now. Eli, sorry, name. Hankinson, I think I can pronounce your last name a lot better. Yeah, he's in canon. He is permanently in this adventure now because he just had to have lasers shooting out of the crystals. Arthur, you could absolutely use minions to increase the difficulty. You could do different things. There are different things you could do. I don't feel like necessarily spelling that out right now. You know, the difficulty is because we're building across levels 1 through 4, and there's a pretty big difference in challenges and what challenges one over the other. It kind of makes this a little bit difficult to balance. I'm not gonna. We could spend a half an hour or more balancing this boss fight for various levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I'm just going to leave a DM note and let the dungeon master figure it out, because I don't want to get into that tonight. Got hair on my face. Where is Cthulhu? Cthulhu, are you even here? Where are you, dude? We're putting you in canon and you're not even saying anything. If he left, then we should take him out. He's going to watch this. He left. He's going to watch the stream later and he's going to be like, no! Why? All right, are we done with this room? Is that we had some loot. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, hold on a second. We had this thing. We had this idea for the shaman. She has 3 eyes painted on her forehead that represent the 3 eyes of the aboleth. So that was an idea that we had. Oh, he went to get food? Oh, nice. Hey, Superman. I think that's kind of how you pronounce your name. No problem, dude. I'm happy to give you guys help and stuff and tips and all that kind of stuff. Good luck on your campaign, man. Oh, Vincent, he said goodbye above? Oh, okay.
When he gets back, make sure that we tell him that we put him in canon and then we took him out because he was gone. Loot on the body. So the shaman loot. Let's create some loot for our shaman. We have key to area K7, the door and cage. Oh, a magical trident. Oh, you guys, we have to create a magical trident. Magical trident. All right. Let's start. So the idea that we had before is that it has like no bonuses, but it constantly speaks and is annoying. Let's talk about that. Other ideas. So a magical trident that like speaks to you and is annoying. What would it look like? How would it behave? Let's just get some ideas going about this magical trident. And then we're going to create a quick little magic item, this magical trident together. And then we should throw some loot on that guy as well. That's pretty cool. Ooh, an Iwan stone. Ooh. If this is probably not a bad place to have an Iwan stone reserve. That could be in the treasure vault as well. We do have a treasure vault. We might put that in the treasure vault. Let's take these quartzes and let's put those on them. My cat Squeaky's right here. He wants to like jump up on my lap right now. A giant kitchen fork? Oh, that's cool, Matt. That's really cool, dude. You want to give it to the shaman? The Iwan stone? All right, fine. We can give it to the shaman. Oops. So we'll give him the quartzes and the Iwan stone. All right. Now, presumably, the Iwan stone would be going around him, and he might be using it and stuff, and we should probably, write that into the adventure, but I'm feeling lazy right now, so I'm just going to put it into the loot, and a good dungeon master should come along and make this better. Because I'm not right now. I'm not doing it. All right, so let's get some ideas for this trident. Magical trident. Oh, we gotta like that. We gotta write that down. Magical talking trident. See below. Magical talking trident. This trident does not grant a +1. Does not grant any bonus to attack rolls. That's the first thing we got to note. And what else did we have? What other ideas did we have here? Oh, that's interesting. A trident that contains a demon who just can't stop complaining about her love life and comparing her love life to her friend's love life, crying whenever she is reminded that her life sucks. Oh, that's interesting. The trident screams loudly as it is thrown. Oh, that's cool too. I got some really interesting ideas. Okay, we got some ideas. Let's start writing stuff down. This trident talks constantly when held in a Valley Girl voice when held. When held. And it screams loudly like a little girl, I don't know, when thrown in combat. And then somebody else had a really cool idea too. What was it? I like the idea from... Where was it? Yeah, we got the Valley Girl. We got the Valley Girl voice. We got that. That's really cool. Like, why are you always throwing me? Will you just stop throwing me? Where is this thing? Somebody had... Okay, here we go. And then we're gonna put Please Forever's idea here. So we're gonna say the trident contains the soul of a demon who can't stop complaining about her love life and comparing her love life to her friends, crying whenever she is reminded that her life sucks. I don't know. That sounds interesting. Okay. That's pretty cool. It's a giant kitchen fork. Oh, yes. This trident resembles a giant kitchen fork and does not grant any bonus to attack rolls. All right. I love it. That's awesome. Magical talking trident. We should actually put this in the shaman encounter notes. The shaman wields a magical talking trident, see below, in combat. There we go. And hopefully the dungeon master, when he's running this combat, will like have this trident talking and saying things as the shaman is like stabbing and using it and stuff. What's the trident's name? Spork. Oh yes, Spork. The trident's name is Spork. This trident is named Spork and happily tells its wielder this. That's really cool. Oh my god, Karen, I just had another date with this cute pig demon, and all I do is being enslaved by some hippie in shorts. My life sucks. All right. That's awesome. All right, we've done enough in this room. We should probably move on to another room. Gag you with a spoon? Nice. All right, where are we at next? We are going to... So we did this crystal chamber. I think we have spent like over an hour working on that crystal chamber. So how about we put a fork in it and move on to something else? The throne room. So we have this throne room right here. So now that was our archpriest. So now we have like a Kuo-toa leader or something that's in this room that we're going to have to use. So yeah, let's start brainstorming ideas of what the throne room looks like and what we are going to find in the throne room. So yeah, like totally. It's going to be great. The throne room is just going to be like totally awesome. And I think we're just going to like, have lots of fun making this throne room. As if. Yeah, you got to use all of those like crazy expressions and stuff. You need to watch, what is it? Clueless? Is Clueless the movie that has all of the Valley Girl talk and stuff? You got to watch Clueless before running this adventure. That way you can truly get in character as that trident. I think we're going to have a Kuo-toa of sorts. We're going to have a Kuo-toa ruler of sorts. We'll probably have to figure out what stat block we use for him. But I think that's the idea. Demonic Valley Girls pop out. That's crazy. What is in our throne room? A Kuo-toa flesh golem. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, a flesh golem is probably way too hard for this level. We're doing a level 1 through 4 adventure. I turned my fan off. I was getting a little cold. Flesh golems are too powerful for this level. Is the ruler male or female? I don't know. We just had the shaman was a female, so let's just have the ruler be a male so that we call it even, I guess. Turtle guards. Ooh, that's interesting. Are there stat blocks for turtles somewhere, or something that we could use? Or we could just use it. We could just use the guard stat block and call them turtles, or something like that. That could work. A direwolf as his pet. Roomy. Turtle barbarian guards for the king. Oh, that's okay. We got a couple people saying turtles. That's interesting. Okay, hold on. Hold on. So the king's. I mean, we're already like making the encounter for this room. So let's just jump into that then. We're gonna take this right here, and we're going to. What stat block should we use for the turtle barbarians? We need like a low-level stat block, like a CR 1/4 or something, or a CR 1/2 maybe for the barbarians. We can just pick any humanoid from like the back of the monster manual and use their stat block for our turtle barbarians. So it's something turtle bodyguards. We're gonna call them bodyguards. Turtle bodyguards. Thugs. Thugs are 1/4. Well, yeah. Let's go to the monster manual. Let's go to the back of it, and let's see what we got. Bandits, assassins. Those are too high. Bandit captain, a berserker, way too high. Cultist, a druid, a gladiator is too high. See, I'm getting tired. You could easily use a guard. You could easily use a guard for it. A knight's too high. You said thugs? Thugs are like a 1/2. That might work at like for like higher level. Thugs are a half. I'm looking at it right here. All right, so let's do this. Let's use. I think we're probably going to end up doing a couple different things. I think we're going to use guards at low levels, and then at the mid levels we might use thugs for the turtle bodyguards, and then for the ruler, for the king. Could we just use a Kuo-toa whip again? We could just repurpose this Kuo-toa whip and use the whip again as the ruler. Would that make sense? Or is there some other stat block that we could use for the Kuo-toa ruler? What do you guys think? Any ideas? We can just use the whip again. Where's the whip? The Kuo-toa whip, I think, would work. Okay, hold on a second. So the thug, I need to get that written down. So the thug is a CR 1/2, and it's on page 350. So let's go up here. Thug. Monster Manual 350. I'm just going to copy paste that. Nice. And then we have the guards. We're going to use some guards. Monster Manual. Oh, what page was that on? The guards. Page 347.
CR 1/4 for 50 experience points. All right. The turtles were raised as Kuo-toa. Yeah, that's interesting. What, tribal warrior? Oh, wait a second. That actually sounds cool. Where is that? Where's tribal warrior? That does make more sense. Oh, for instead of guard? Yeah, we could use the instead of guard, we could use tribal warrior. That makes total sense. That's page 350. Tribal warrior. Nice. Cool. And then let's go back down to here. Instead of guards, we'll say tribal warrior. And I think we're still using the Kuo-toa whip, right? We have a sea spawn somewhere else in the adventure. I think we're just going to use the Kuo-toa whip. I don't see any other ideas. So we're going to have the Kuo-toa whip be our king. And let's punch some numbers for this. So what CR was the Kuo-toa whip? CR1. Number of monsters, 1 of them. And the tribal warriors are a 1/4, right? Were they a 1/4? Tribal warriors are a 1/4. And at level 1, that's already hard. And then it becomes deadly. Woo! We have 2 tribal warriors and 1 whip. And it's deadly. For 600 and 300. So we go down to here. Two tribal warriors and 1 Kuo-toa whip, and we have 0 of the thugs. And then at level 2, that becomes hard. So I think we could just use that same exact one. We don't need to change anything about it, except for the fact that we call it hard instead of deadly. Whoops. Now at level 3, I think at level 3 is where we're going to transition to using thugs. So if we go to thugs, that is a CR 1/2. That's a medium encounter. Let's put 3 thugs in there. And then it becomes hard. Okay, so 3 thugs. 1,500 are my XP things. 500. Hard. 3 thugs. Whoops. 0 tribal warriors. 3 thugs. And 1 Kuo-toa whip. Yeah. And then at level 4, let's add another thug in there. Let's add another thug in there. Oh, that's still too easy. Now it becomes like I have to add. We need a different thing. We need something more challenging than the Kuo-toa whip. All right, Thunderbites. See ya, man. Gotta do some dishes. That stinks. Gotta go do dishes. I have probably dishes upstairs that need to be done too. I don't think we're going to be able to use that whip. I think we're going to reuse that Sahuagin Priestess is what we're going to have to do. So this is going to be the king. And then I think at level 4... what we're going to have to do is add another row to this table. And we're going to say Kuo-toa. No, it's a Sahuagin Priestess. king. And we're going to have one of those and then some thugs. And it was a CR2. See, then it gets better. Now if we have that priestess there and 5 thugs, now it's a hard for 1900 and 950. And it was hard. And we had 0 of those guys and 5 of the thugs. 0, 0, 0. So this gets kind of complicated, but we have like a matrix going on here. But the reason it's complicated is that there's a big difference between a level 1 party and a level 4 party. And so we're having to customize this quite a bit to account for that difference and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, we had giant crabs before in the adventure. Giant lobster. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we had giant crabs previously in the adventure. Okay, so we have built out the encounter itself, but we haven't really described the throne room. So I'm just going to start describing the throne room. If you guys got better ideas, you let me know. So let's get ourselves some read aloud text. And let's take a look at the map again. So we have like a throne room right here. And what are we going to say? I mean, I think there's just going to be like a throne made out of like fish bones or something. A ton of tuna. That's funny. At the far end of this chamber is a large throne made of massive fish bones. Atop on the throne sits a Kuatoa. What is he wearing? What would the king Kuatoa be wearing? An angler fish head? Ooh. With an angler fish head? Oh, that's cool. Just like a whole fish head. Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool idea. A Kuatoa decked out in very fine fishy robes. Very fine robes made of shimmering fish scales. And wearing a... what is it? Ooh, I like that. A crown made of seashells. And a crown made of seashells. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. The fishy robes. Yeah, they can't be trusted. They cannot be trusted at all. They're very, very fishy. Merfolk tails. Oh, that's cool. Very fine fishy robes. Very fine fishy robes. I'm going to put that back in there. Made of shimmering fish scales. And wearing a crown made of seashells. Standing about the throne are a handful of... what would you call it? Humanoid? Let's just say turtle. Turtle bodyguards. There we go. We'll say like turtle-like bodyguards, and then we're gonna say bodyguards. These turtle-like creatures
are turtles that the Kuo-toa raised as their own. Alright. Awesome. The Kuo-toa's god is an aboleth named Zorchid, I believe. Zorchid the something or other. Ooh, a scepter with a fish skull head. Ooh, that's a cool idea. This Kuo-toa also bears a scepter crafted from fish bones. All right, there we go. Archer King, what up? Welcome to the stream, man. A spear with a dragon turtle scale. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Zachary Smith. Appreciate that. What was it? A spear with a dragon turtle scale? Oh, that's interesting. The fish skull is the previous king. Oh, that's cool. Lots of cool ideas there. All right. Disney plays. It's 4:30 in the morning. Wow. That's crazy, man. All right. So when they come into the room, so we got the room, we got the description, we got the contents of the room, and all that kind of good stuff. When they walk into the room, what would the king do? What would the king do? How would he react to a bunch of adventurers walking into the throne room? Like, what would he do? The scepter should have been a spoon. That's interesting. These turtles are more like snapping turtles. Maybe. Maybe. Trevor Mangus, thanks for subscribing, man. Appreciate it. What would the leader do when a bunch of adventurers walk into the room? How would they react? Cast them out or try to? The king goes, "You're not fish. Who are you in my domain?" He blows a spit bubble at the party and gargles angrily. Oh, that's nice. He's calm and curious and completely confused. Let's see. Role-playing the king. We'll just say the king Kuo-toa is curious and intrigued when the PCs enter the throne room. Why? Why is he curious and so what he is attempting to like obtain merfolk captives and other fish. So maybe the king somehow thinks that he can use the PCs as part of his his goals to satisfy his aboleth deity. So maybe he might use them somehow. You are not fish folk. How dare you invade my realm? Maybe. He would probably know about the attack by now. He might. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, if they get this far, it's possible he's discovered that they've been invading his compound. But here's the thing. If he knows that they've been invading his compound, he also knows that they're powerful enough to have made it this far. So maybe he's interested, instead of just fighting them, he's interested in somehow using them to his own ends, instead of just, like, killing them outright, you know? I've brought you Xanathar's goldfish as a tribute. Oh, that's awesome, man. Would you offer them a bribe? I think to just leave him alone? You're an interesting species. My lord would like to have an audience with you. Oh, that's really cool. He could send them on a quest or something. He could offer them a place in the council. Yeah. He is aware that they have... So he is aware that they have been
cleaning out his compound. And we can even say the aboleth told him and knows that the PCs are powerful. He is more interested in making an alliance with them and using them to further his own goals instead of attacking and killing them outright. What can he do? So, like, he might do what? You know? Capture more merfolk for him. I mean, the king is weak at this point. He's just had some adventurers, like, clear out most of his compound. You know? What might he offer them? Riches. He could say that he serves the aboleth. He serves a powerful creature. And if they aid him, riches and glory are to be had. Kelp. Just give him kelp. The Kuo-toa king tells the heroes that he serves a powerful deity. What was his name? Zorchid or something? Where is this? Zorchid the Binder. Zorchid the Binder. And if they join him, riches and glory will be theirs. Yeah. I mean, we're writing all of this up, but in all honesty, will be theirs. In all honesty, this is the sort of proposition that my players would never accept. They would just kill this guy, you know. So we can write this all up and have a little bit of a role-playing thing going on, you know, which will be fun. But I think at the end of the day, the players are just going to, like, murder this Kuo-toa king and just be like, that's it. We just kill you. It's all over now. So, hey, Speedwagon, what's going on, dude? California. Yeah, we're creating an adventure together. So we're just fleshing out this room right now. A level 1 to 4 adventure. No, it is not the objective of the adventure to fight the aboleth at the end. A treasure map. The Kuo-toa king, let's say the king. The king would like the heroes to go hunt down more merfolk to be sacrificed to the aboleth. I don't know. There's some stuff there. And then I'm going to make a DM note. Feel free to improvise on this and add more to it. If your players actually go along with this and don't just kill the king and turtle bodyguards, the Kuo-toa king or the aboleth could become sources of further quests for your players who likely are now evil can go on. I don't know.
we'll see where that goes. You know, I think at this point, depending on that conversation, if they actually go along with it, the dungeon master is just going to have to improvise things and make things up. You know what I mean? More than likely, they're just going to attack and kill him. You know, almost assuredly. That's what my players would do. They would just be like, "No, we're not working for you. You're going to die." I mean, if they just attack, I think we already have a pretty challenging encounter. I don't think we need to give them anything else. We already have deadly hard, hard, and hard for the different levels. So this is, if they attack, this is a pretty beefy encounter already. All right, do we need anything else in this room? We need some like loot. If they kill the king, we need to have like loot on him. Kutoa King loot. Now there is a treasure vault. By this point, the party should be low on resources. Yeah, they probably will be. They probably will be. Yeah, if you're some players do like to talk and negotiate. They might. Yeah, there's no need to add more to this encounter. It's already hard enough. An aboleth necklace. That's a cool idea. Let's make that worth something too. We can make that worth like... Let's convert our silver pieces into gold pieces. We actually don't have a lot of loot left. We've already placed a lot of our loot throughout the adventure. So it's not going to be worth a whole lot. Our treasure vault's going to be empty. You guys, our treasure vault is going to be empty. There's not a whole lot of like loot that goes into low-level adventures. And we have distributed a lot of it throughout the adventure already. And so we don't have anything else to... Our treasure vault's going to be empty. It's like all gone. You already got it all. Yeah, the healing potions. An aboleth figurine. So let's put like... Where was this? There's not a whole lot on him. An aboleth figurine carved of wood and of little value. And then we could say that there are 46 sparkling gems of little value. I did this to my players once. I gave them crap tons of gems and stuff of like no value whatsoever. But some of my players were creating very clever ways to use these gems. And in ways that like were helping them in the adventure. They didn't have any gold value to them, but they were figuring out ways to use them. Fill the vault with coral and shells. Oh, that's cool. I like that idea. The king's staff can be a giant sling. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think we could put the healing potions here. Ninthu, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. That's cool. So I think we were going to give them the healing. We'll give them the healing potions. So a greater potion of healing. I mean, we could just put all of this stuff on him. And then literally the treasure vault. The treasure vault is full of just corals and stuff and shells because they think that that stuff is like really valuable. So let's put the rest of this stuff on our... And that's cool too because they're going to have like a puzzle or something to get into the treasure vault. It's going to be hard to get into the treasure vault. And they're going to open up the treasure vault and all that's inside of it is coral and shells. Like stuff that is like nothing useful at all to them. That'd be funny. 100 gold pieces, a potion of greater healing, this ointment stuff, a potion of fire breath, and 20 plus 1 sling bullets. Oh, there should be like a staff. A staff sling, or a sling staff. A staff made to hurl sling bullets. Alright, cool. Yeah, coral and seashells are their currency. Yeah, gold's useless to them. Potion of water breathing? Let's instead of a potion of fire breath, let's call it a potion of water breathing. That's probably a better thing to include in this adventure. All right. Is that it? I think that's it. Archer King, that's a good idea. 46 sparkling pearls of little value. Nice. Cool. I think we're done with this room. I think we have enough stuff in the throne room, I believe. And we really only have... What do we have left? We have 2 rooms left. We have the leader's quarters and then the treasure vault. And for the treasure vault, we want to do some sort of puzzle or something. So, have the vault contain drawings of the king's kids. That's a cool idea, too. Let's write that down. Whoops. That's wrong. Where was that? Okay, cool. I got that idea written down. A staff of catapult. I don't want to do another magic item. We already have enough magic. This is a low-level adventure. RJ Case, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. This is a low-level adventure. I'm not going to fill it with magic items. I do not like showering magic items on players at low levels. I don't believe in that. I'm stingy with magic items. I make them work for it. And when there are fewer magic items, they're more special. When there are just crap tons of magic items, they lose their specialness, and it's not as fun, in my opinion. It's way more cool to have fewer of them. All right, I think we are done for tonight on creating our adventure. We're not gonna finish these 2 rooms because I'm tired and I want to go to bed, and we can finish this next time. And we call it a day. So there we go. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to, down in the description, there is a link to this adventure. I'm going to update that link. I'm going to update the adventure that it links to have the stuff we worked on tonight. And then you guys will be able to get that. And I think the next time we stream, which might be next week, maybe, the next time we stream, we'll definitely be able to finish this because we got 2 rooms left. And then we'll call it a day. And then it's time to go to bed. So... yeah, Kim, I'm glad that it has been a good learning experience. I mean, one of the reasons I do these adventure creation things is so that other folks can, like, maybe some people are new to DMing and have no idea how to create an adventure, and this is a way to learn how to create an adventure. Or there is, like, what do you want to call it? People who just want to, like, what do you want to say? Dungeon masters who've done it before, but might find it enjoying or might find it useful to see how other people do it. So, yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go to sleep and all that good stuff. So we'll see you at the next live stream, probably in a week or so, maybe. We'll see how it goes. I might want to take a break, take a week off. I don't know. We'll see. So stand by. I got to find my screen. There we go. So thanks everyone for hanging out. And until next time, let's play D&D.